Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 188. We're missing Sean right now. Sean is watching a pay-per-view, apparently, the wrestling. He actually paid for it, though, so that's actually good.
Or did he?
He says he did,
supposedly.
so I'll take his word for it for now. But yeah, Sean is busy. He looked like he posted a picture of himself with Bubbly and waiting for a pizza to arrive. So
I think he said he was halfway
tonight.
through his Bubbly by now. So.
Oh, okay. So he's watching the AEW pay-per-view tonight. And then Miss Click had a few things she was taking care of tonight as well. But we have everyone else here. We're going to talk about some of the Xbox Series X and S stuff since the embargoes are all lifted on it now. So MBG and myself will share some things on that because I had some questions about the S as well because there was something surprising that MBG found out about. So we'll talk a bit about that. And we'll also be going over Nintendo Switch sales because it was, again, very impressive. And we'll talk once again about that Wii situation, see if it catches the Wii. And we also had some PS5 reviews that went around and SEGA posting some fairly large losses, bringing into question about that company now. So we'll go over all of that today, guys. Anyone want to go over what we've been playing? We'll do that with our introductions here. Let's start with Max, Dreamcast guy.
Oh my gosh. So this week I've been playing a bunch of Bugsnax, which I can't talk about till Monday, but I beat it. And I also did beat Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I put up a review about that.
Bugsnax is going to be PlayStation Plus immediately on the PS5, right?
Yes.
Yep. So once that releases, you can just download it and play it.
I am playing it on PS4, just for the record, because people have been asking ever since I posted some pictures of it. It's the same game. It's like little indie games like that. I do think that the first launch PS5 games are going to be pretty cross-platform. Like Yakuza looks great, but I'm pretty sure Yakuza is going to look the same on my PS5.
Well, here's the interesting thing with Yakuza. I'm playing that on the Series X right now, and I did not know there were any significant load times in the game.
Mm-hmm.
At all. I didn't know I didn't know load screens were more than a second in the game. Like the load screens here are immediate.
The weirdest load screen. So I love everything about the new Yakuza. I think that the new guy is really charismatic. I think the new hero is really cool and stuff. The one problem is every time you finish with a battle, there is a little 3 or 5 second load screen. It really breaks it up because I like the battles. So when I run around in the city, because you can fight for hours in that game if you want.
That's what I'll do. I'll just run around. Yeah, level. Yep. Yeah. I like it a lot. It is a very good game. I'm very happy with it. And I'm not even a big Yakuza person. I just like this game. It's a big parody of JRPGs. Like they make fun of everything. Like the main character's favorite RPG is Dragon Quest. He keeps comparing his life to Dragon Quest constantly. But they're very they're really fourth wall breaking in the game as well. So
I like whenever real life things happen for him, like whenever big moments of his life happen, it'll make the 8-bit RPG noises. So it'll be like all right, I will help you avenge your father or something. It'll go beep 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 beep, and it'll hey, I'm doing your quest. I love it.
I do like it though. There's something that happens in it, and there's a bit of a time jump in the game. They may have actually explained that in one of the trailers before. But either way, he has no idea how to use a cell phone, for example, or any of that stuff. So there's a lot of things where they poke fun at older people who aren't used to that kind of stuff, like technology and all of this. So it is a fun game. But yeah, I had no idea. Nate was playing it, right, Nate?
Yes.
And you were telling me, you're like, oh, these load times, that's the only thing. And I'm like, I didn't even know there was load times in the game because the Series X, after the battle, it just immediately takes you back right away. Like it's instant.
I want to keep playing.
Not instant.
Yeah.
You're playing on the VCR though, Nate. That is like the lowest end of that game.
Yeah, and the load times are pretty aggressive. A lot of waiting.
Interesting.
On the Pro, I'm playing on the PS4 Pro, and they're not probably as bad as you, Nate, but yeah, they're very noticeable.
See, now we're having different experiences here with the load times. I'm telling you, that's Series X. The load times
I should get the game on the VCR then. So
yeah,
that settles it.
VCR. Yes, Yakuza Like a Dragon is definitely one to pick up, though. I will say I like it quite a bit, and I think RPG fans will have a good time with it. It's very traditional RPG style. So, what'd you think of it so far, Nate?
It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I like the Pokemon side quest. They have it, the Shojimon, which are perverted men walk around and they expose themselves and wiggle it at you. Then you just beat the shit out of them with like a baseball bat.
Yep.
The Professor Oak guy.
Yeah, the Professor Oak guy with a huge scar over his eyes. You have to find the Shojimon. And at first when the minigame came up, it's like pick red, blue, or green. I'm like, wait a minute. Like a Shojimon Red, Blue, and Green. I'm like, holy shit, this is a Pokemon reference.
I told you, it's a parody against all. There's a lot of those kind of references in the games.
And then you have the Shogi decks. So when you're beating up these guys in the battles, it just adds it to your Pokedex. I'm like, this game is crazy. And
it's great.
It's a lot of fun. There's so many little references in it.
It has that like wild Yakuza style where it's just like off the wall. Like you wouldn't expect half the situations they get into, but somehow they get into these situations. It's a lot of fun. So
did y'all do the Mario Kart ripoff in the game yet?
I have not done that yet. No.
There's
I got hit by a car.
Yeah, I got hit by a car too. I
didn't know it could hurt you.
I got the trophy for tricking somebody to get hit.
Yes, I got that achievement. One of the guys I was fighting, I was about to hit him, and a car hits the guy, and he just dies, and the whole thing ends, and the achievement pops up.
The achievement is get out of or why you playing in the streets.
Y'all ruining the whole game for everybody. Right?
I promise.
That y'all ruining like the whole game for people.
So
right
the
now.
ending cutscene, no, it's like 40 hours long. It's 40 hours long.
Like ruining all the surprises and stuff.
No, the story is good. The story is actually really interesting too to go through. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of things to do in the game, but it's not like so much to where you feel overwhelmed. Like there are some games like Watchdogs that I was playing, which is broken now, by the way, so I'm not playing that now. But Watchdogs, where you look at the map, and when things start opening up, it's that Ubisoft feeling where they throw like a million points at you all at once. This is they do that, but it feels a bit more controlled. It's hard to describe. It's because the area is like a bit smaller. I don't know.
I think the fact that you run everywhere, I honestly think that helps. The fact that you walk places, you get a chance to mentally prepare yourself for the task you're about to do. Whereas in Legion and Watchdogs, you just fast travel everywhere after a bit, and so it's just like mission.
Let's go over to Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Good. I've been playing some of I'm not as far in the game as you guys, but I've been playing some Like a Dragon as well.
Nice.
I'm definitely liking having just played a good amount of Judgment and then going over to a game like Yakuza where they're both very similar, but one tries to take it a lot more serious than the other. It is kind of a cool juxtaposition. So I'm having fun with it. I'm slowly making my way through that. And, this upcoming week, hopefully I can see how good those zero load times are when I play it.
Yep. Actually, after the next podcast, when we all get together, PS5 and the Series X and S will be out.
And the PlayStation, all of it.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting podcast. Okay. Very cool. Let's go over to OJ.
To be honest, man, I was thinking like, what did I play this week? And I don't think I played anything new. Now that I'm looking back, I thought maybe I did, but I didn't. So I just pretty much played the same stuff that I always play. So I played Mario Kart like we always play on Mondays. That was fun. I played Among Us, which was cool. And then I also played more Smash Brothers. So that's pretty much it. So nothing really new, but I am happy to report that I'm very on the Elite Smash update. I got my Diddy Kong to Elite Smash. So that was a lot of fun. So I have about 9 or 10 more characters left for Elite Smash. And it just goes to show you, like, there's too many characters in this game because it's taking me forever. It's been how many years now? It's been 2 years. It's taking me forever to get everybody to Elite Smash. So the next character I'm working on is Snake. So I'll be labbing Snake this week. But, the new systems come out. So I'll have plenty of different stuff to play. But yeah, just Smash, Mario Kart. Yeah, did I play anything else? I'm trying to think. I know I maybe played something else, but I can't remember. I'm getting old. So I'm not really sure. So I don't know if I played anything else. I think I did. If I remember it later, I'll let you guys know, but I really can't remember. I thought I maybe played something else, but I can't remember, dude.
Let's go over to MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer.
Oh man, I played like 100.
I was gonna say we were just all over the place with games.
But, if there was one that stands out, it would be Watch Dogs Legion. I actually started playing it the other day. And
what happened to that game?
It's that latest patch they brought out today completely crashes the game.
It's just broke. So the game's broke right now, unfortunately.
But I will say that even though it does have that Ubisoft, fatigue about it, it's a typical Ubisoft game. I'm kind of getting into it. Like it's
a fun game.
It's a fun game. I'm not taking it too seriously. I think the missions are cool. I like the persona thing where you can switch between characters and you can recruit characters. I think actually that mechanic I was a little skeptical of when they kept talking about it during different shows, like E3 and all the different shows that they were showing off the gameplay, I was a little skeptical of how that would work, but they pulled it off pretty well for the most part. There are some limitations to it, but overall, I think it's a pretty good mechanic. The game isn't bad. I just wish they would patch it and fix it, because even before today's patch, John, that game would crash like at least once an hour for me, no matter what, so it's buggy as hell. I'm not necessarily blaming Ubisoft for this, because I know there's other games that come out right now. Like I know Spider-Man's having issues with crashes as well. It just seems like right now it's next gen. Next gen's coming like very quickly, like Tuesday. Like we're there, right? So everything is just coming in super hot right now, and I think I would agree. These publishers are just trying to keep up and get things as stable as they can. And
it was supposed to be the next gen patch too. They were like, "Hey, next gen patch for Watch Dogs Legion," and the thing is, like, it's like 30 something gigabytes for. It's basically like
you're downloading the game, aren't you?
The game again. You're basically re-downloading it, and this version is just broken. So I got into the game for maybe 5 seconds earlier.
That's what happened to me. Yeah,
and it just dropped immediately. I couldn't even walk outside.
But one thing I tried, I even just pulled up the credits screen just to watch the credits start scrolling, and even that crashed back to desktop. So it's like. They got to fix this. Yeah.
What's unfortunate is it's supposed to add ray tracing, I believe, for the Series X. So I was like, oh wow, I'll actually get like full ray tracing. I can record and see how it looks and all this. But
it should put it on parity with like the PC version. Maybe not on the ultra settings, but it should be comparable to the PC with that patch. And I'm curious to see what it does with the S. It's not going to give it ray tracing, but I was wondering if it gives it like at least 60 at 1080p or something like that. But
so there was something interesting that we did get a different patch. I think this was yesterday for Ori. And this is interesting. You said that the Series S actually puts out 4K for that game.
4K 60, baby. Yeah. Yeah. The system that doesn't do 4K has
it actually does 4K.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And it also does 120 frames per second at 1080p as well. So that's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
The Series S, yeah.
On the Series X, they have a 4K 120 mode. And I switched over to the other mode, though, where they have 6K at 60 frames per second. It's super samples. So it looks, it looks crazy. I got that Sony OLED, the A9G, and I hooked it up to it. And that game and Forza Horizon 4, if you get a Series X this week coming up and you have it like a really nice TV, those are the two games you want to turn on immediately to see how they look. It looks crazy though, like with an OLED, the Ori does. Forza Horizon looks great too. The load time is much shorter. Final Fantasy 15 is like the big one. If you load up Final Fantasy 15, I was shocked at how fast that game loads in for the Series X or even the Series S.
Sekiro is also a good one as well. But I think the best one I've tried to this day is Final Fantasy 15. It's ridiculous how fast.
I did load up Final Fantasy 13 as well.
Can you guys a little bit Final Fantasy 15 on the Xbox Series X, John? Like, what's it running at? Is it
60 frames?
60 frames.
Yep.
And like the resolutions.
I don't know. I have to see if a Digital Foundry counted, but it looked really clean. It looked clean really though, so it's solid.
I think it's native 4K.
Is it native? I'll have to see.
It's either that or I want to say like almost 4K.
Because once you start moving, I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, this is 60. This is much higher in terms of frame rate than what I was just doing with the One X, because I went from the One X to the Series X, and it was just way more fluid immediately.
I purposely didn't play a lot of the DLC because I have the Royal Edition. I purposely didn't play it just to save it for the Series X to make, I guess, the wait for 16 a little bit better. Because they were saying back when Final Fantasy 15 came out and the Xbox One X was coming out, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to hit 60 like on performance mode. It didn't hit 60.
Yeah. No, it basically just leaves like the frame rate uncapped, and it's just like tells the system good luck. Well, the Series X just pushes out 60 frames. It's good.
So they finally got it there. So that's what I've been waiting to kind of just play. Because I mean, the game is really good, but I wanted to kind of play all that extra content. So that's why I'm really like, yes, there's not as many games, but I'm happy that there's so many cool, like the backwards compatibility is so good, to where the games that you didn't play, you can go back and play them, and it's like way better. It's way smoother, way better, looks way better. So, I mean, I'm happy for that because I didn't buy any launch games. Like I bought 0 launch games,
Yeah. So. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Get on that RPG.
I'll get that. I will get, but that's like the cross-platform. But I didn't buy I didn't buy Demon's Souls. Like I didn't buy Spider-Man. I have a bunch of like I'm gonna be playing like God of War. I'm gonna be playing Ghost of Tsushima again. Like I'm gonna be doing like stuff like that. So that's what I love about these systems, man. It's like they really do up that. But
all right, Nate, let's hear it. Nate the Hate.
Beyond Like a Dragon. What did I play this week? I played Sniper Elite 4 on the Switch. Comes out later this month. Have actually been playing it for like 3 weeks now.
Wait, what is this? What? You've been playing it for 3 weeks and it's out later this month? Wow.
I got it in early October, but we were under embargo until
Did they give it like a month and a half early or something?
Yep.
Okay.
So I've been shooting a lot of Nazis.
Okay.
Hell
so
yeah,
to the point where I like forgot the embargo was like this week, and all of a sudden I looked at it, it was like, oh, the embargo for previews was November 5th. I was like, oh yeah, that game is
so you can talk
still
about
coming out. Only the first level.
How's it run?
It runs fine.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
It ran I'm shooting the heads off people. You see all the bones breaking and the bullets coming out. It's very gory. It's quite some point a little disgusting. You shoot through like the intestines and it shows the internals and it's like flailing around, shooting out blood. I was like, sweet, but it's more open world than the previous Sniper Elites.
Okay.
So you have like the whole island and it gives you numerous objectives.
I really fell out of that. I fell out of that series. I don't know what it was, but eventually I remember when it first came out on the original Xbox, that game was amazing back then, but I don't know. They're up to a fourth one now and they're doing another one. I don't know. I just kind of fell out of it, but
I mean, it's still fun to shoot the the tank of a car and blow it up and kill like 10 Nazis with a single bullet. It's still pretty fun.
It's efficient.
It is efficient. That's true. What else? I know there was a weird game. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Always these weird games. With
how much of a lasting impact it made on me.
Nice. Let's go to Evan. What did Evan play this week? Anything good?
I'm still sticking with GTFO. Matchmaking is still actually really good, but I've gotten to the third floor, which is super difficult. And not a lot of people have gotten there yet. So it took me a while last night to get into a run, but when we did, it was awesome. And we actually cleared it, which was super.
What happened to Genshin?
Dailies. That's it. There's a new content patch coming out, I think next week, 2 weeks from now, that I'm going to take a look at. But for the most part, it's just log in, play it for maybe like 45 minutes, log out. There's really no reason to stay in.
Fair enough. Very good. Very good. We got a Discord question over there, Evan.
We'll open with the Metal Gear question of the week. If Metal Gear took on a new genre of gameplay, what would you want the developer to explore?
I knew. Let's just go JRPG with it.
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say something like I would like to see it sort of do a dungeon crawler style thing. I really like the Boktai, The Sun Is in Your Hands, which was also made by Hideo Kojima. I'd love to see maybe like a top-down, like Lara Croft Go style thing. I'd love to see, a more weird dungeon crawler version of Metal Gear.
I got something that's new. Battle Royale. Yeah, Battle Royale. Metal Gear game.
What about a zombies game? Oh wait, didn't they try that already?
Oh man.
I think, wouldn't a battle royale Metal Gear game kind of be cool though?
Does Pachinko Machine does that count as a genre?
Sure. Gambling? Yeah.
Sure. What's another Discord question we have over there, Evan?
It looks like last week someone asked about costumes in games, and I guess you guys answered, but it wasn't exactly what he was looking for. So he was asking about costumes you have put on your in-game characters, not related to costumes IRL. So I guess games you've played with costumes that were interesting for the characters. Kind of like, I guess, Dead Rising with Mega Man and stuff like that.
I did make back in the day, we had those wrestling games that I made him look like Goku when he was Super Saiyan. There was that one. That was really popular at the time.
Soul Calibur, I do the thing where you could unlock, I can't remember which Soul Calibur it was, but the more you played it, the more cosmetics and stuff you'd unlock for the custom characters. And I used to basically be naked other than just a shirt, and I would beat people up with fish. I was just dual wielding fish and I'd beat people up.
Oh, man. Let's go over to, we will start with the Xbox Series X and S impressions since we basically already started talking about it. MVG, a bit.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that, and then we'll go to the Nintendo Switch sales before going over to some of the super chats there as well. So the Series S MVG, you picked it up. You did a teardown on it. You haven't posted all your stuff about that. I did a teardown on the X. I haven't posted that yet either. I can tell you though, the X is built very, very well inside, and I'm very surprised that it's $500 right now after seeing what's in it. So it's a solid piece of machinery.
Yeah, the S is very similar. I think it's been meticulously engineered and well put together. It's I think it'll surprise some people when they see the teardown how well it's been basically engineered. Like you can tell, and I'm sure the X is very similar, John, but they've like made every possible concession to dampen that sound. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, there's like padding everywhere. There's like foam here and like every screw has like a foam kind of inlay, so it doesn't vibrate against the metal case, and it doesn't make any noise. And obviously the fan and the heatsink are just way ridiculously large, compared to previous generations.
Yeah, even that S, because you posted a picture of it, was huge. The X heatsink is massive. It is even larger than that Xbox One X heatsink, and that was big. So it is like, it's not quite as large as what the PS5 has, but it's close, and it's a full vapor chamber, so it is like super heavy when you pick it up. That's what most of the weight is. That, and they put a big aluminum block in there too, where all the boards kind of get screwed into. So it is solid overall, I'll say. But the system itself, because before we couldn't talk about any of the software or anything, is super fast. That's like the best thing I could say right now. Even though we're playing the same games, everything, the menu is fast. I think download speeds are even faster. I don't know if that's just my imagination on it.
No, they are absolutely faster.
I don't know if they started opening up on their side to like push more data through, or I don't know, or maybe the SSD itself is helping with that. I'm not sure, but for some reason it downloads faster than the One X, just outright, which is good to see. But that's the biggest thing I can say, because when I have the quick resume thing on, it doesn't work all the time for me.
Yeah, it's still a little buggy though, right? Like, well, I don't want to say buggy, but it's still a pre-beta.
They're still patching it, and I noticed this because I keep getting patches here and there for it, and all of a sudden one will work, and that's fine. They keep doing that, and they even kind of mentioned that, like, here's some good ones that we know work now. Patches are coming, so I think day one, so Tuesday, I think there will probably be a big patch that gets pushed anyway. So like that's why I was like, okay, quick resume's cool, but it really only saves me like 5 seconds maybe, because the system's already fast opening things up as it is, and a lot of their games rely on internet connection for like live service style games, right? Like CFE stuff. You're not really quick resuming back into that, is what I've noticed, because if you drop out of it, it disconnects me from the server.
All right, so let's get serious. Would you recommend a Series S or an X to someone, assuming they were available on Tuesday, that you could go to a store and pick one up? Would you recommend one on Tuesday?
Like to actually go buy one? Good question. Okay, so for Nate, I would say yes, because that VCR needs to go. I think if you have a One X right now, I feel like you could hold out for a couple of months, to be honest. Mostly because the medium got pushed. It's not coming out in December anymore. It's coming out next year now. So like I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't really know if you need it right. Like if Halo Infinite had come out and it was like, look, this game is gonna show you what the system can do and all this stuff, I've been like, yeah, I mean, maybe you should get it for that. But like we're trying to just get the next gen patch for Watchdogs working right now, and it just broke the whole system. So it broke the whole game, not the system, but like I can't play it. So like for me, I'm like, you know what? If you can't just get one, like maybe you're thinking, oh, hey, if I come across one, cool. But I don't know if I would like run through a wall to go find one of these or something right now. Just because there's nothing really that would be pushing me, unless I'm upgrading from an S. If you're upgrading from a One S or an original Xbox, you've had this whole generation, then I would, because to be honest, that VCR is probably gonna die soon anyway with that mechanical hard drive. So I mean, dude, that hard drive's 7 years old at this point. Like, yeah, how many more writes do you think that thing has in it?
I agree with you. I do think though, if you have invested in the Xbox ecosystem and you have a large back catalog of games, there is value in picking up a new system, because you get immediate benefits of those old games, and some of them will play in ways you've never experienced before. Whether that's increased resolution, increased frame rates, like games like Sekiro and Final Fantasy 15. GTA 4 is another big one, and there are games that are getting patched. But I agree with you for the most part. I mean, like as far as next gen Xbox Series X titles, right now there's not really that much. We're getting some patches on Tuesday, but like today, John, I mean, we can't play Watchdogs. We haven't seen Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, they still haven't let us play. We have it. It's just it's not unlocked. So I'm like, that would have been a game. That's supposed to be 4K 60. I would love to be talking about that and showing it, but like, I can't right now. I don't know.
The medium got pushed. Tetris Effect isn't it's not working for me at least. I mean, it's probably going to go live on Tuesday. It just seems like and again, I mentioned this before. Everything is just coming in so hot right now, and this is another one of those things. Hardware's great. The software side needs a lot of work, I think.
Let me ask y'all a really specific question. So obviously I have mine pre-ordered. I have a year of Games Pass paid off already. Would you recommend this as a Games Pass machine? Say it's somebody who hasn't played the last couple Halos or never tried Fable.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Like it's good. The back compat, is that awesome? Like
the back compat's amazing. It has all the games work on the one work on this, and it has auto HDR. So if you have a nice TV that has access to HDR, that's good. You'll see that kind of dropped into some of these Xbox 360 games and stuff too, which is interesting. To see that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Hell yeah. I don't regret.
And you have Max. You have fast internet as well. So
I have Google Fiber. So my plan is day one because I'm going to pick it up as soon as I can Tuesday, and then my plan is just install just tons of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. You'll be happy with the experience.
And if you're like a competitive Gears player, like Gears of War is 120 frames per second in multiplayer.
It is just a shame that there's really nothing compelling next gen for the system, especially when you compare it to Sony that will come next week with Miles Morales and Demon Souls. And
then it sounds like they're gearing up for an early to have some games ready to go first half of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So like I'm trying to figure. When do you think the next like big Xbox game is coming out first party?
Probably Psychonauts 2, maybe. I mean, Nate, what do you got as far as what's coming for Microsoft or for Xbox?
I mean, first party wise, we're probably looking at a Psychonauts. But we've known since the summer, Microsoft's 2021 is really going to be scarce in terms of first party output. Microsoft hits their stride late 2021, early 2022. That's when their studios will start to deliver all those projects they've been working on. I mean, we're at a maybe best case scenario, we might see the Initiatives game before this year concludes, and that should excite some people.
I think that's Game Awards.
It could be the Game Awards. We finally see the game. But Microsoft needs another 12 months for their first parties to really get on board and start delivering the games, whereas Sony they're going to be right there. And I said it early this summer, everything we saw from Sony at their PlayStation 5 event is 2021 for the most part, aside from, things like the Square Enix project. All those games are next year. So you're looking at Gran Turismo, God of War, Horizon.
Final Fantasy.
Sony's coming out very strong. They're basically mimicking what Nintendo did in 2017. They're bringing their franchises right out the door to their new system. And Microsoft just has to survive the next 15 months.
That's a shame because the hardware is really good. So it's like they show up with this really cool car and they don't have any roads to drive on with it.
Yeah, I think the medium really, obviously Halo is devastating, and just the void, you can feel it, right? You can feel that void that Halo is not here. It's on the box. It's Master Chief's.
Master Chief's helmet is on the power supply, and he's on the fan in the Series X. It's the first thing you see.
They were 100% a go to launch Halo Infinite, and to get that taken away, I think is really, really hurting them.
343's messing up over here.
Yeah, it is a shame. But to Nate's point, I mean, I agree. I think they'll hit their stride, but they need a little bit of time. I mean, the hardware is excellent. There's no faulting the hardware. The hardware's great. The software side really just needs a little bit more time to catch up.
Jordan just heard 343 and is just compelled to speak immediately. That's your favorite studio, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think if Halo Infinite was there, it'd be easier to make a case for it. It'd be like, yeah, I mean, Halo Infinite, it's 4K 60. They have ray tracing and they're all this cool stuff. It runs better on it than like the One or the One X. So yeah, you should jump ahead to that. But there's not much to buy alongside it. Yakuza Like a Dragon, that's next gen exclusive, I guess, until March, I think, is when it shows up on the PS5. So I don't know. It is a shame, but I guess if you want another Xbox, you know what? That Series S isn't a bad idea for like a second room or something. So there you go.
Yeah, good living room system. I think would be the place most people would consider having it. But I mean, look, for the person that just wants to play FIFA and games like that, some of the live service games, it's an awesome system.
It's a good Fortnite box. There you go.
It's a great. I mean, if you don't care about 4K, but you still want a really fast frame rate and you want fast SSD, it's
it's a real shame. I think both of these systems, that'd be the Series X and the PS5, would feel way more significant if we didn't have those mid-gen refresh systems.
You think? Yeah, because then we have a bigger leap.
Oh my gosh, going from the PS4 to the PS5 or the Xbox, even if it was just the 1S, and we got like the PS4 Slim and then the 1S, so basically the slim Xbox One, it would have been a massive jump from that system to the Series X. But I feel like these mid-gen refreshes kind of pulled some of the hype away from these new systems because of that, just a bit.
I would say a
little
bit. Well, because you have super high quality games on Xbox One X. Like, I mean, if you play Xbox One X, is still really good. The games look fantastic on there. Like, it looks significantly better than like the VCR or even the S with some games. Some games that are optimized for the Xbox One X. So yeah, I have to agree. That's why I'm like, unless you're like really hardcore into like the hype and maybe playing backwards compatibility, like you said, maybe you can hold out. Like to answer the question in terms of like because like I've gotten that question quite a bit. Like, should you go out there and buy it? If you wait, guys, you always get amazing deals.
I think they're going to hit us with a Halo Infinite Special Edition system too, and that's going to annoy me.
And then do you guys remember like Sony's Black Friday bundles are like legendary?
Yeah,
they'll give you like
they put Spider-Man with that PS4 Slim, and it was like $200 at GameStop.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Legendary bundles if you wait a couple years. So I mean, I'm not saying that you have to or anything like that. Like if you're excited, go out there, enjoy it and all that. But as content creators, like obviously we're gonna get everything, but like as like just regular consumers, like you might want to wait a little bit. And not only will you get cheaper games, but then you'll get the bundled games in with them. You'll be able to get more, you'll be able to get more years of PSN or whatever. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing, But, like, if you're super excited, go out there and get it. But, I mean, the Xbox, it seems like you can wait maybe a little bit more for the Xbox.
I think next holiday, I think next holiday is going to be the year, like the time to really get into the Xbox Series X to really pick one up. At that time, it's just it just launched before any of the software was ready, so it's unfortunate.
I do question whether developers will continue, I'll say, optimizing for the Series S, because like right now there are some things that run really well. Whether they continue to do that or they just kind of make it, they just basically take whatever the 1S version of the game is and just kind of transfer it to the Series S, if that makes sense.
It's probably going to depend on how well it sells. I mean, you'd think it would sell well because it's $300 as opposed to $500, and people in stores will just be like, yeah, I'll take the cheaper one. But if that happens and the install base gets pretty large, then yeah, I could see that where they're like, well, we might as well develop specifically for it because everyone's buying it.
Yeah.
But
do you think it'll fall into that gap where do you remember that we all remember that weird thing that happened, which is where when the PlayStation 4 Slim came out and the old PS4 got discontinued, there was like a new group of people of like, okay, they made a cheap PS4 finally, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
You think the S will become that? Series S might become that?
It's possible. It's very possible it could end up that way. We'll see. We'll see how the next 12 months
also
goes.
There's a chance that in like 2 years maybe you could see a 1X that doesn't have a disk drive. That's possible.
Yeah.
So, maybe drop that down in front. I'm telling you, that's where we're going. That's where. Hey, look at that PS5 disc unit. That thing was an afterthought.
Keep talking, John, and I'll keep doing. I'll do that the whole time. You kick me out.
Mute his mic. This is a debate now. Mute that man.
The PS5 all digital was the original PS5.
So I have another question. Do you think that it's misleading advertising to say that it has a 1 terabyte drive when you only have 800 250 gigabytes available or 360 gigabytes available.
No, because I just bought a 1 terabyte SSD the other day and I didn't get that full 1 terabyte.
Yeah, you never get a full anything of any hard drive or micro SD.
But you're getting way less now. I mean, in the past, you would like if you got a 1 terabyte drive, you might get like 420 or something, right?
And that Series S, man, coming in at, what was it, 364?
Yeah, and because now they've obviously had to reserve space for things like quick resume and some of these advanced, SSD features, which you cannot disable. So you'll never get that space back unless Microsoft does decide to.
I kind of want to disable quicker. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of want to say that, get that space back. Just to be honest,
it would be nice.
How much space is it? How much space is it?
It's probably using a sizable amount.
100 gigabytes.
It's probably 100.
Yeah.
Damn, 100 gigabytes for.
It's got to be on the X because I get just over 800 gigabytes on the X when you turn it on before you install anything. So like 150 went missing basically. So yeah.
Dang, bro. That's a lot of space. But
yeah,
I mean, whatever.
Well, you can buy the memory sticks, only $220.
Only.
Yep.
They should put the games on the memory sticks. That's what they should do.
Oh, dude, you know how expensive that thing would be?
Why? Why would it
be? Like they sell you a USB? You buy a box.
I was talking about. I was like, they should make the games on like super cool tech, like make new tech.
You're assuming it's a 1 terabyte drive. I mean, what if they just put the game on like
we're still trying to get 64 gigabyte Switch carts over here, man.
Right.
What if they just put it on like a 64 gigabyte?
We can't even get that on the Switch. The Switch ones cost them too much money.
Oh boy!
That's why you got to start now, then build your way up.
I bet Spawnwave comes out with a video like next week that he hacks up an expansion card with a SSD he bought from Micro Center. I can see it now.
You never know. Could happen.
I doubled my Series X hard drive for $9, and it's you doing this.
Hey, there's some adapters hitting the market now. People trying to wire up their own memory cards.
See? It's already happening.
Let's go over to Discord question, Evan. I'm gonna pull up some of these super chats.
How quickly?
Then we'll move into some of the Switch sales.
How quickly do you think the PS4 resale value will drop after the PS5 is released?
Resale? I mean, it's probably pretty quick. I honestly don't think the problem is there's so many PS4s out there. It's not like even the Wii U kind of started jumping in price semi recently. There's just so many of them out there. I feel like they're going to flood the market very quickly because they'll get traded in like crazy at GameStop. GameStop's going to do something funny where they offer like $150 for a PS4 or something, and they're just going to get a stupid amount of them in. So I think it's going to fall in price very quick. First 6 months, it'll be stupid cheap online to get a PS4, which I mean still isn't a bad idea because of that library, and a PS4 Pro is still a very capable system. So. But yeah, I think you're going to see it drop very quick. But then, who knows? Maybe in 20 years, it'll go back up. So.
Oh yeah, the loop, the bubble pops and everything fills.
Got plan ahead. Let's go over to super chats here. Puck says, "Thanks for all great weekly content. Series X teardown when? Planning to have that out tomorrow, hopefully. It's already filmed." So we'll go, and it did all go back together perfectly fine. It's right here. It works.
Yeah,
works fine.
That was going to be my question.
My question is, okay, it works fine unless I try to boot up Watchdogs, in which case the thing just explodes.
It's funny you say that, John, because when I put mine back together, I put Watchdogs on and it started crashing. I was like, oh my god, I think I ruined my system.
That's great.
It's a Ubisoft error, not a.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it looked like, I mean, the S didn't look too bad. The X. No one open up the X. No one open it. It's not a system to be opened. I'll say that.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because remember Digital Foundry went to Redmond and they were showing him just like stacking it all on top of each other and just sliding it in. It's never that easy, is it? Like they will.
Oh no. There's a secret in this one that I had to figure out to get it open. Yes, the stand on the bottom actually has to come off. I know how to take the bottom stand off now.
I did like your tweet today of like, oh, they said they couldn't take this off. That was pretty good.
It was clever. It actually twists off. So there you go. Yeah. Yeah, you can see more in the teardown. It was it's well built though. It was a good system. So Cheesy says, gotta say Dreamcast Guys Series S video is the worst I've seen. As if he hasn't used the console before, like the type of video made by a Sony fan. Are you a Sony fanboy, Max?
It's true. Yeah. Somebody in chat earlier said I was Sony cast guy. So I just want you to say, stay mad, bitch. I don't care.
Oh, gosh. Dragon says, do you think RGB LED incorporated PS5 custom plates will be available in the future? Not if Sony has anything to do with it.
Sony's coming for any customization, man.
Sony did not like that at all. They made that website start. They made them change their name, pull down any of the stuff they're trying to sell, and now they're a custom skin seller. Sony made him keep the website up and then was like, "No, you can sell skins now."
They got bodied, bro. That was
custom skin seller. So what, they got those like the flames that you stick on the side of the case.
At best, you might see stuff come out of like places like Etsy where you got to like dig in and find someone.
We're probably gonna have to go to like AliExpress or something.
Yeah, probably that as well.
Yeah. Oh, man, good stuff. The sad thing is, I bet you Sony doesn't do anything with those side panels. I bet you they never release anything to the public.
I'm already expecting that, man. Like,
I have a feeling they're just doing that so it's easier at the factory level to change the plates out. Like that's probably all it is for special edition ones and all these. Like,
people are going to be printing them though. I'm going to buy third-party ones, absolutely. 'Cause I think those businesses are going to keep popping up. They'll like be on eBay and then they'll shut them down, and I'll buy my own custom Spider-Man one.
Absolutely, it is weird because we get like Joy-Con shells or shells for the Switch and all of this, but like once the PS5 one showed up, Sony were quick on that. Wishbone says Spartan console will save Sega. Oh boy, the Spartan console. I've not looked in the Spartan console in a long time. Maybe I'll check it out again, just for fun, just to see. RDX Devin says, "Oh, they called you Ponycast."
All right, Ponycast guy. That's all right. I'll write that to the bank.
Xbox Lord Gamer says, "Spawn, need to chill. I know what you're doing." Jeffrey Dudley says, "Best podcast out there." Thanks. Also, big night for the 302 Spawn. Michael Griffin says, Nate's seasonal beverage of the week. What do you got, Nate?
Eggnog.
Fucking gross, dude.
Okay. Hey, eggnog's Jordan. Why you gotta hate on eggnog?
Because it's disgusting.
It's so
gross.
Loogie in a cup.
If you willingly, like, if you're not like in a social gathering and someone's have some, okay, whatever, which you shouldn't be at a social gathering anyway, right now. But if you're just drinking it by yourself alone, that's gross. That's disgusting.
I do it all the time.
It'd be less weird if you just drank milk.
The eggnog hate, man.
So much disrespect for eggnog.
Lewis, there's eggnog love in the chat. That's what matters.
There's so many better drinks to have instead.
Yeah. Just drink water, honestly.
I will enjoy a nice glass of eggnog.
Eggnog is the best, Nate. It is the best.
How is it the...
It is literally bottom 5.
Why are you booing me? You know I'm right.
How is it the best based off of? Okay.
It is the best seasonal beverage. I challenge you two to bring up a better holiday beverage
pumpkin
for this
spice
season.
coffee.
Anything
I'm pretty good with pumpkin spice
Shut up, Evan.
Diet Squirt. I'll take Diet Squirt from Walmart Marketplace. Diet Squirt, bruh. That stuff is delicious.
Boy. Damn, bro.
Derek says, super concerned about the PS5 news about no storage expansion at launch, no ability to store extra PS5 games on an external drive. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, Derek, for the PS5 reviews that came out with some of the new information. And then Xbox Lord Gamer says, you saw how that Bethesda shirt confirmed SF leaks. I have not seen that yet. Bethesda shirt. Oh, everything always leaks out on a shirt now.
It's true.
Happened with Assassin's Creed, wasn't it? Wasn't it Origins? And RDX
used to be tattoos. You'd roll up the sleeve and the
oh yeah.
the best leak was still that Tomb Raider one where the guy was like clearly working on a presentation on the way to work, and somebody just leaned over and took a picture of his screen. It was like the Tomb Raider game 2 years before it was shown.
RDX Devin says Dealer Gaming was right about RDNA 2 only on Series X and S. Rascal says you should invite Yongya to Spawncast. Also, why is nobody asking about fast charging on next gen controllers since they have USB-C? That's a good question with the charge times on those controllers. I know that the DualSense seems to be all over the place when it comes to its battery life, but from what I was seeing, people were saying they were getting like 6, 7, even 8 hours of battery life out of it with some of the effects they were getting in Astro. Tijo says, why did companies like Sony and Sega go from using exposed power supplies like PS1 and PS2 to encased power supplies PS3 onwards in their console? Well, the PS2 had a power supply inside of it, the fat PS2. The slim one, they removed it, put it outside of it. I can only imagine really. Well, even with the Xbox One and the 360, though, they had them outside of it. It wasn't until the Xbox One S where they put the power supply inside of it, although the original Xbox had it inside of it too, though. I can only imagine it's to save money in terms of the amount of things you have to ship inside the box and then provide to the customer. And then the other thing is probably you can control the environment a bit better.
Points of failure, is reduced because, things happen if you've got an external brick power supply.
A lot of people didn't know that there was a fan in some of those brick power supplies for the 360 and the Xbox One. There was an actual fan in there. If it stopped spinning, it could overheat.
Mm-hmm. And they get caked in dust pretty good too if you don't ventilate them properly.
A lot of people just throw them behind their entertainment center on the carpet. Yeah. So yes, point of failure though. Absolutely, that's something to avoid. Yep.
I know I did. I just threw it in the corner and went, "Don't catch on fire."
There you go. Bummer Rob says, "What game defined your childhood, your teens, and 20s?"
What about
Final Fantasy
30s, 40s?
Right.
Well, you can just name any one game, I guess. Really.
If I had to pick one game, Final Fantasy VII. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII for 20 years, and I love it a bunch. It's one of those games that I feel like the more I revisit, the more my life changes, the more I appreciate that game.
I would say Zelda: Link to the Past.
I was gonna say Link to the Past. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Very closely followed by Super Metroid.
I was gonna say Link to the Past because back then when I was younger, we only had like 2 games we played for the entire year, and then Christmas rolled around and we got 2 more games to play for the entire year. Link to the Past was one of them. Played that like 50 times throughout that year. So yes, that was a good one.
I'm old. Mario Bros 3 was the game. It was like the first that I saw. It was like Hollywood, right? You got the movie. That's how we found out about it. It was like a freaking movie. The Wizard. So that was like the first yo, this is big time. This is crazy. Everybody knows about this. So
that's how we found out where the whistle was. Somehow they knew. I don't know how they knew.
Yeah. and like Pac-Man. I mean, I played Pac-Man in the arcades as well. And I thought when Pac-Man came out in the arcades, I was like blown away. I thought this was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Pac-Man and Mario Bros 3 were just. And I would say Chrono Trigger for like RPGs. I mean, I always liked Final Fantasy 6. I thought that was great, and original Final Fantasy. But when Chrono Trigger came out, I thought that was what made me super love RPGs was Chrono Trigger.
And Adam says, "Hey John, just broke one of my Joy-Cons and wanted to replace the rumble motor. Okay. Any recommendations for tools I should get? Replace the rumble motor. Is a rumble motor broken? Well, you need a tri-tip screwdriver and then a fine Phillips head screwdriver. I'd get them magnetized. That should be all you really need. They have them on Amazon though. They have like kits you can get on Amazon, but that's all you really need. Then I guess you need a new rumble motor. It plugs in, so should be able to find those on Amazon, even eBay. Alcatraz says, with the PS4, Xbox One gen coming to an end, what game do you think was the most underappreciated this gen? Mine is Mad Max. Most underappreciated.
I feel like people did talk about Mad Max in a good light. But
Jordan, say Skate 3. Go ahead and say Skate 3.
Yeah, Skate 3. I was going to say Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2. I feel like those games are super damn near perfect, and I never saw anybody ever talk about them.
I wanted to say Rise because that game got forgotten about real quick, and that's now good. Everyone's going back to it with this. I noticed people were testing that with Series X. I'm like, this thing still looks incredible. That was a launch game, so that was a good one.
I played Sunset Overdrive the other day, and man, that game is so good.
Yep. Hey, you might get a sequel. Sony owns it now.
Maybe
might get a sequel.
Another one I think that I was checking out that I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking about it wrong, but Evil Within was another one for me that I didn't really feel like got the accolades that it may have
Hell
deserved.
Yeah.
I thought that game's excellent. Both of them are really good.
Okay. And then Bummer Rob says Majora's Mask remake or Ocarina of Time remake. Oh, which one do you want remade? Majora's Mask.
You already got both of those, but
no, like a full ground up remake, like full on ground up remake.
Okay.
For the next Switch system, not this current one. Let's just say they're remaking it for the next gen one.
You wouldn't want Ocarina?
I like Majora. No, I like Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is good. It was darker. It's a dark story.
It was pretty good. I like Majora's Mask.
I'll take Ocarina.
Okay. Leaf says, why did Jack and Daxter and Ape Escape die? Good games. They probably have a hard time figuring out how to sell it for $70 now.
Well, I can answer that.
Yeah, go.
Sony said why. They said they don't want to do those games anymore. or Naughty Dog said they don't want to do mascot games anymore.
They sent Ape Escape back into the forest. You see that? That was messed up.
In terms of Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, Jack and Daxter, Naughty Dog. Yeah, I remember that Naughty Dog statement about basically how they liked kind of creating stuff that would grow up with their audience. So like it was really, really cartoonish, and then they did things that were harder, and then they did like Uncharted was their first experiment of like, what if we did just a not cartoony game at all, and they stuck with it.
Yeah. And it made sense because Uncharted killed Jack and Daxter and Sale. It's not even close.
Oak City Gamers just says cheese. Then Rodrigo Diaz, Liquid Metal on Xbox Series S or X. I would not recommend adding Liquid Metal to either one of those, especially not the X. If you add it to the X, that is a terrible idea because it's mostly in a vertical orientation here, and the chip is very large, and there's a lot of spaces where that Liquid Metal could leak to on top of that chip. Although the bottom of the vapor chamber is all copper, so it should be okay. It's not aluminum, but I still would not do it. It's also very unnecessary. You do not need it. I see no reason to add it.
I'll take my chances.
You know what? If you could break it down and get down to the chip, you're probably okay to put Liquid Metal on it because you got that far.
About your Tostitos?
Yeah, if you get down to do it is quite a bit to get to that chip. So if you could get to it, go for it. Liquid Metal. I do have some Liquid Metal. I thought about it. I sat there for a minute. And I was like, should I try? Nah.
Looking at the nail polish to try to seal it in and stuff. Just like
I know I have actual sealing. Like
I have got the real stuff.
I was like, yeah. I was looking. I was like, should I try it? No, no. I don't need to. It's never been loud, so it's quiet. It's silent.
You get clickbait either way. Either I upgraded my Xbox Series X, or it's I somehow broke my Xbox Series X. Bam!
Liquid Metal on Xbox Series X.
And it's the T1000 running out of your Xbox.
T1000 in the corners.
Silver Surfer in the background. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: the system has no issues with heat or any of that. So Liquid Metal won't really do too much for it anyway. So I just don't think it's worth it. At least now. Maybe in the future people can play around with it. I just don't think it's needed. But I will get temperature tests for the system. I am curious now as to how hot it gets. So maybe we'll do that. Geo says, do you think current gen consoles are going to be on sale during Black Friday? I would love to score a PS4 for $200. Love the show. I would recommend Sony and Microsoft sell off all of them for like $100. Why not?
But
I think there'll be some good deals. Yeah.
There's not. Do you guys see a lot of them in stores? Because I don't see a lot of them in stores. In general.
They stopped shipping them. I think about 3 months ago. But the Walmart near me has like 4 PS4 Slims in and no Switch systems. So they have something, I guess, if they want to do it.
I'm sure maybe they'll be there, but
maybe they're saving them for that big blowout on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I don't know.
I would say check if you're up for meeting people face to face. I've seen a lot of that stuff on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist for cheap. A lot of people want that next gen money.
So. Do you know where I think they might do something? Because this happened last year. GameStop will probably sell either used Xbox One systems or a used PS4 for like $100. Last year they did it with the Xbox One. Do you remember that, MVG?
Yeah. And did you get a One X last year for like $200 or something? Was it?
I did.
Was it last year?
Max did.
That was the deal I got. There was the Minecraft edition. Yeah, that's the one I bought.
Yep. But the one was either $90 or $100 at GameStop. And I have a feeling they're going to do that with used systems they get in, and they're just going to try to flip them pretty quickly. But the idea is to try to create foot traffic in their stores. The problem is they don't want a lot of foot traffic in their stores right now. So I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe they'll just put it online and kind of put games next to it, hoping that you'll just add those too. I don't know. That's usually their strategy, though, is to take these systems in and then flip them for foot traffic. But maybe they'll count it just on their website.
Man, no Halo really hurts though, doesn't it? Because I mean, you'd walk in, you'd buy a Halo and a used Xbox, and you'd be good to go. But
here's hoping Halo Infinite's out in 2021.
At least the multiplayer.
Yeah. Hayden said they have to have a flight. They have to at least do that. Hayden says, thoughts on Yakuza Like a Dragon? We went over that pretty well earlier.
Buy it. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. You will not regret it.
If you are getting a Series X, it is worth getting next to it because it is technically a next-gen exclusive until next year. So Khalil says, I have the VCR. Best believe I'm buying one. Yeah, if you have VCR and you've had it this whole time, the Series X is going to be a massive jump. So you might as well. That's a good one to go with. Nobody says, why buy a Series S if it comes with such little memory? The card is $200. At that point, get the X. better deal all around.
I agree.
I made a whole video about that, and people are using super chats to say I suck for it.
One thing to keep in mind is Microsoft did mention that there'll be different configurations of those memory cards. So it's not just going to be 1 terabyte for $200. Yes. As third parties get on board with those as well, I think we'll start to see more competitive pricing around those memory cards. I don't know if you'd buy one right now unless you want to, if you want to check one out. But for the average person, I'm not really sure if it's really worth the money right now.
Yeah, I do wonder if as flash memory gets cheaper, we do eventually get a 1 terabyte S that's $300. That is something that would be a good idea.
Probably way down the line, I probably see like in
2 years from now, 3 years from now.
Yeah, down the line we'll see something. I can see something like that, just like reconfiguring it with more memory.
Yeah. J-Rock says, well, I noticed 120 frames on a 60 hertz TV. You will not, because the system won't actually do it. It'll recognize your TV as not being capable, and it'll just say you get 60 instead. That's what it'll do. So you'd have to get I know the LG CX is a good one to get if you're looking to upgrade to a nice OLED that has 120 hertz support, but I think the Sony X or H900H, I have to double check on that one, but everyone's getting the LG CX. So that's the one to get apparently for that. Let's go over to the Nintendo sales, because we had a massive dump of information for Nintendo with their systems. The Switch is the big one. The regular Switch, not the Switch Lite, regular Switch. The Switch it's rolling. We talked about this before, didn't we? We were trying to figure out if it would actually pass the Wii. Mm-hmm. We did that, I think, last report, and a lot of us were pretty sure it would. 6.85 million Switch units in this past quarter. That quarter would be July, August, and September. So that does also include the Mario 3D All-Stars sales, and it also includes Paper Mario, which Paper Mario did all right for being Paper Mario. It wasn't bad, especially with how polarizing it was, although that never really turns into bad sales anyway. We saw what happened with Pokemon. But it is now at 68.3 million units, which means it is it's getting there. I mean, it's 7.5 million away from the 3DS now.
Yeah, so 3DS is at 74 million, 75 million.
Yep, and they're looking to sell another 11.5 million units by the end of March. Switch systems. So that would, at that time, place it at just about 80 million. So any thoughts on Nintendo sales so far? It looks like Animal Crossing is also going to be passing Mario Kart. It could happen this holiday, and honestly, by the time Animal Crossing is a year old, it might be over 30 million units already. So it might sell 30 million copies in just over a year.
Did you hear they're doing that bundle once again for Mario Kart?
Yeah, I saw that. So that's probably going to boost sales for it.
Yeah, they're doing that same crusty bundle.
But dude, Animal Crossing at the end of September, 26 million pieces already.
Yeah, that's
that is
impressive.
Wild. It keeps sneaking up on me, I feel like. As somebody who doesn't look at the numbers, I play my Switch a lot. I was drunkenly playing it last night. I was doing what is it called? Clubhouse games. Me and my friends were doing darts and Clubhouse games last night.
That's fun.
So fun. And it's one of those things where I feel like I just play my Switch and I forget. And every time they do one of these big meetings and say they've sold another like 20 million Switches, I feel like it just blows my mind. Like I think it's going to pass Wii. I feel like it's definitely going to pass Wii.
Okay. Yeah, because the Wii sits at 101 million units right now. And after the Wii, you start getting into the territory of the PS4. So now, you know what? That's the new question. That's the new question now, because the Wii, it's going to happen. The Wii might happen next holiday. Like we might be talking about leading into next holiday, 2021. Oh, is this Switch about to pass the Wii?
They revised the forecast to 24.
Yeah. So 80 million basically at the end of next March.
Yeah, and then next year, you're gonna have like probably Zelda, you have Monster Hunter, you're gonna have like a number of different games, so that's gonna be another big year for them.
It sounds like next year is gonna be like another 2017 essentially, where they just have big like hitter after hitter, getting lined up just because developments had time to restart and be ready for releases and all of this. I've had games internally pushed. 2021 looks to be the big year for them, but if they also have a Switch revision, like a lot of people are anticipating in the first half of this year coming up.
Wait, didn't Nate say something about that?
Oh, Nate completely expects it. Nate, you think there's going to be a TV model?
Talk about that real
Although
quick,
I remember talking about this.
No.
I remember talking about this TV model like 3 years ago, and people said I was crazy. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
I want to hear Nate and MVG since they do a podcast that you guys, a great podcast. You know?
I mean, it's not the MVG show; it's the Nate the Hate show.
But you're on there. You guys talk about stuff behind the scenes, so I know you have that information, MVG. So I mean, what do you guys want to talk? I'm pretty sure people are interested in that. Nate, you want to say anything, or is there anything you can say?
What's the question?
Oh, we were just talking about the Switch next year getting to about 80, according to Nintendo, getting to about 80 million is their forecast by the end of March. So that'll end their fiscal year. That's their current forecast.
Potential new hardware.
We were mentioning, okay, we're kind of done talking about if it's going to pass the Wii. That seems obvious now. But then we're talking about, okay, what about the PS4? Well, what if they have some sort of revision like we're all expecting in the first half of next year to really get whenever a different color for the Switch Lite comes up, they probably see a spike in sales. But we're talking about a revision. You would expect a fairly large jump at that point. People rebuying the Switch, basically. People who have a Switch buying it again, kind of
all
thing.
of us.
But that TV model that I did bring up 3 years ago, by the way, coming out would possibly be another way to get more of them out there if it's like $150.
It depends on the revision's nature. I mean, a TV model is not going to sell millions upon millions of units. It's a pretty niche device. It would sell, it's going to sell a few million units, but it's not going to be something that would propel sales of the hardware to new heights. And right now, the Switch is outpacing the PS4 launch aligned by 5 million units, and we're just about to enter the holidays. So the Switch lead over the PS4 should increase. But the revisions for 2021, it depends on the timing of the release and the nature of the revision itself. If it is a TV type of revision, it's not going to spark huge sales. If it is still a hybrid version in tandem with a TV model, then you could see a hardware spike in terms of sales. But the deeper you get into a hardware generation, as many big software hitters as you will have, you will eventually hit a ceiling and you're not going to sell tons of hardware. Like, it's really a matter of, is this the Switch's peak year? Or is next year the peak year? I mean, Nintendo revised their forecast. They're expecting 24 million Switch sales this fiscal year. That is DS type numbers.
That's DS and Wii, basically. I think that's the best. I think the best year the Wii had, I think, was like 24 million.
So if we are saying maybe by early 2022, the Switch will pass the Wii, we're looking at another 21 million fiscal year. That's a very strong year in terms of hardware sales. It's not impossible. But, I don't know if Nintendo's going to come out that aggressive next year with such a forecast. They probably still come in about 18, 19 million. Because the big thing of this year is how much was the Switch sales accelerated due to COVID. People were at home during quarantine earlier this year. They bought a new console. A lot of people bought a Switch. They bought Animal Crossing with it. Did that speed up adoption to this platform?
It had to have, because their software, if you kind of align it next to the hardware, is significantly more than the 3DS right now. 456 million pieces of hard or software versus 20 or 68 million pieces of hardware that they've sold for the Switch. 385 million units of software for the 3DS versus 75 million units of hardware. You could tell more people on the Switch are buying more games per Switch.
Yeah, so there's a lot of factors and variables that we simply don't have, answers to right now. But I mean, next year should be an incredibly strong year for Nintendo and the Switch. We are anticipating a revision from Nintendo. We've had plenty of the reports and everything out there. It's a question of, when do they release it? Is it the first half of the year? Is it second half? We really don't know. None of the information that's come out of Japan, any of the rumors from Bloomberg, none of them really give a good time frame. The biggest clue that anyone could really use at this point is either it's going to release alongside maybe Breath of the Wild 2, which would be second half, or the fact that there is no Switch hardware bundle with Monster Hunter Rise, and Nintendo likes to position new hardware with a Monster Hunter game. Maybe we're looking at late March, but it's really anyone's guess right now as to when the potential revision hits next year, and simply don't know. I mean, if I'm Nintendo, I know I'm going to have a strong holiday. We just upped our forecast for the fiscal year. I'm not announcing new hardware for this fiscal year until as late as I can. I want to sell the units I have right now.
It would have to be like a month before, and they do that. They'll be like, if let's say it comes out in April, they'll announce it in March. Be like, oh yeah, there's a new Switch revision coming out.
Yeah, it'd just be this really quick thing of, here it is, boom. And the less time they have between announcing it and the release, we can kind of gauge what type of upgrade it would be. I know you have people out there already speculating, saying it's a next-gen upgrade. It's not a next-gen upgrade. This isn't the Switch 2. That would require development kits to be out, 12 to 18 months in advance. And that's simply not the case here. We're talking about a revision potentially coming out in the first half of 2021, which would mean dev kits would already have to be in hand, and that is not the case. There's been no rumor of anyone having a dev kit for this. The only information was a rumor on Twitter where they were saying Nintendo briefed some developers to say, leave the option of, have your resolution and stuff to be increased.
I wonder if they could do even a dual release with one of the little TV ones, and then they could also do their revision. Because remember, they did the Switch Lite, but then they also did the Switch revision as well.
Nate, let me tell you something, bro. Nate, let me tell you something. I got my Polaris dev kit right here. All right, man. Maybe you don't got yours.
Polaris.
All right, how about this?
Okay.
Let me ask you this then.
48 gigabytes of RAM.
Before we move over to the
renders Toy Story 3.
Before we move over to the PS5 reviews, let me ask you this: do you think the Switch will be Nintendo's first system to hit 1 billion units of software?
1 billion? I mean, we're not even halfway there yet. So
456 million units of software right now. Yeah, but that generally software continues to climb exponentially because more and more Switches get out there, and you get Breath of the Wild 2, you get another Mario, you get another Pokemon.
The reason I'd say no is when you look at the Wii sales, you had a lot of third-party games like the Guitar Hero selling 20 million units, and we don't have that really replicating on the Switch. And one of the big factors is when they do the software, I believe when they do the numbers, if it's a digital-only game, that's not part of that figure. So you could actually have a digital-only indie game, like I'll use Hades as an example. That could have sold 10 million units, and that's not part of that 450 million figure.
Okay.
So
yeah, because they haven't
sales, it's not a good comparison because the Wii had so many games.
The Wii didn't even get there. The Wii was at 921 million.
Yeah, and look at some of those third-party games that were selling 20 million, like Carnival games.
Yeah,
that was over 15 minutes. Just Dance, those were all like
the DS. The DS didn't even get there.
Yeah, billion. I think the Switch would fall short of 1 billion.
Well, at least the Wii U got above 100 million.
That's
question.
Probably more impressive.
I have a question for you guys. So Mario Kart just continues to sell. Like it's probably the most evergreen title that Nintendo's brought out.
28.99 million units.
It's the last Mario Kart, right?
Yep.
So do you think they're going to make another Mario Kart game considering it's just...
What do you think, OJ?
Because I know
I made it. I talked about this.
Maybe Mario Kart 9 was coming out next year. We all kind of think that next year will be a big year for Nintendo, and I think that is accurate. But do you guys really think that there's a new Mario Kart game for this generation?
Yeah, I personally think that there's a new Mario Kart game. The reason why is because at this point, they talked about it. I think it was Iwata asked. I know that there was an interview where they said that they start working on it as soon as the current one is done. So the last current one being done was 2014. So there's some form of a Mario Kart 9 game. Whether it's all completed or what they're going to do or when they're going to release it, I personally feel that it's there. But they're probably waiting for that install base. That's what I would guess. That install base to get to a crazy amount. And when they release it, it can legitimately sell like 20 million in like the first month or whatever.
What if the big gimmick for the new Mario Kart is that it's like 100-person battle royale mode?
Oh God!
Go ahead, Max.
that is actually sort of what my question was going to be is what they can do that's new. Because the major thing that I liked about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fact that it has like 64 normal tracks and 6 battle tracks. Like 70 tracks is insane total. So I feel like with Mario Kart 9, I guess my thing is, like, what the hell can they... Maybe it will be a battle royale race, like what they did with Mario 35 or something, where it's like last person on the track wins. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see it. Obviously, we're all going to buy it. But I guess at this point, I can't even imagine what the hell it's going to be.
Well, don't they do Mario Kart every generation? A new Mario Kart every gen.
They always have a new gimmick or, like, hook thing. Like, it's like since the original... Whatever. Yeah, like, it was anti-gravity with Mario Kart 8.
Oh, yeah.
Before it was like hang gliders, Mario Kart 7 and underwater. You know, they always have Double Dash. You know, they always have something. Mario Kart Wii was like motorbikes and like, or not motorbike, was motorcycles and like online play. That was like the big thing for that. So they always have some type of new hook for each Mario Kart game. So I'm guessing it's just going to go like with some type of gimmick, whether it's an amazing gimmick or not. They always have something that they do that's kind of different. So we'll see for this one. You know,
what if they just take the Smash Brothers roster and use them as Mario Kart?
Yeah, what if Mario Kart just turns into Smash basically, and they bring in all these outside characters, and it's like this whole thing?
I would be so down. We've talked about this so many times on my channel.
Talked about it on here as well.
I would be so down for them to just say like, yo, we have all the past tracks, like every single past track, every single past character. And it's just like all there because there's so many tracks that we don't get, right? There's still a number of tracks. It has a lot of tracks. Mario Kart 8, Deluxe especially made a lot of cool improvements. Like they made it to where you have 2 items instead of 1 item. That's a big deal, you know, like when you're racing. They made it, the online is definitely improved from what they had before. The battle mode is improved from what they had. So with this one, I mean, I would love for them to say like, yo, all these past tracks that you guys all love, it's all in there. And like they kind of gimmick it around there. And like a Diddy Kong Racing type of single player, like that would be awesome.
Well, let me ask Jordan real quick before we move on. What's the word for the next Pokemon game then? Because that's going to be a big focus for him too, to work through the back half of the Switch.
I mean, it's kind of all up in the air right now. They have multiple directions they're going in. Obviously, this year they really skipped making a mainline game and instead focused on doing the DLC. So it's either next year we're going to get a form of remakes, or they may switch focus and try to do something again with Let's Go.
Let's Go Gold and Silver.
Right. So it's either in a way we're either going to get some form of remake. We're either going to get a Gold and Silver remake or a Diamond and Pearl remake, I think is the direction we're going in. We're not
going with a Diamond and Pearl
or anything right away.
Either one's great. Gold and Silver or Diamond
I'll
and
take
Pearl,
either. I'd rather
either one.
I don't love the Let's Go format. I like to battle the Pokemon, not just catch them. I would really like. It's about time we get the Diamond and Pearl remake. It's been over.
That would be pretty cool.
It's been quite a while. So
I agree with you, Jordan. I wouldn't want like Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl is such a legendary game for when it released, right? Because it was like, okay, this is the first one online. There was like the global trading station. There was just crazy amounts of like just completely revolutionized.
Brought a lot of people back into it who like took a break.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It got me back into it because I took
the
a
DS
break.
was set up perfectly for it too.
I took a break. I wasn't into Ruby and Sapphire. I didn't get it. Like I played Fire Red and Leaf Green, but I wasn't really into that one. So I got back into it when I saw that there's online trading and all that. So if they Let's Go that, I mean like that would be a little, I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know if I'd feel about that, but we'll see, I guess.
We have another Discord question, Evan.
They had someone ask something last week. I guess you guys skipped. Why do you think most JRPGs use that awful Times New Roman like font? Does it have something to do with the localization for Japanese? From my own side of it, I mean, font actually costs money if you want like an interesting one. You have to pay a service to make a good font. But I think Times New Roman type fonts tend to just be open source, so less money.
That's an interesting take on that. Okay.
I never thought about that.
Kind of explains it.
I think it's that, and I read an interesting literary analysis thing a couple years ago, and it talked about how everybody in old timey books, even if it takes place in another universe, people talk with a British accent, and it's just because sometimes it's just legacy. Like people have a British accent in Lord of the Ringsy style stuff, so everybody has a British accent, even though there's dragons and stuff. So I always thought it was that Final Fantasy sort of established that, and everybody kind of followed in those footsteps.
I know, like with Xenoblade, like the only reason why they have the accents in there like that is because Nintendo of America didn't want to pay for it, so Nintendo of Europe paid for it, so they just got voice actors from there, and then they just used that localization, and just stuck with it.
Let's go over here to some of the super chats. T-Joe says, reality check, you guys do know that PS5 isn't coming out in EU till the 19th, and some regions like China still don't have prices or dates, right?
That's crazy. I forgot that too. Yeah, that's crazy.
Europe is the 2 weeks, right? It's not next week, but the week after.
Maybe the 19th is when they release 19th. It there. Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if some of those get delivered early. Like people are already getting their Series X's released, like delivered to their houses right now. I wonder if something like that'll happen over there too.
I feel bad for all the people that are super hyped for Miles Morales and Demon's Souls on the PS5. They're going to have to watch everybody.
Oh, it's going to get spoiled like crazy too.
Yeah.
Joe says, I traded in my 1X and 1S and got $300 in credit from GameStop. Only owe 200 plus tax to the Series X. Hey, you know what? That's a win right there. Okay.
Right.
That's less than the memory card. I mean, if you can do that, if you can take your 1X, make sure it's backed up for, stuff to the cloud and all that, and then you trade it in and get that kind of credit. Yeah. That would be worth it. Shinru says, evening, everyone. If Persona 6 is a thing, how would you summon your Persona? 3, you shot yourself. 4, you broke cards. And 5, you rip off a mask.
I think he asked me the same question. This person.
Maybe just have you snap your neck.
I'm gonna say you jump off a cliff every single time.
Hey, just jump off.
Just slam your face into the ground.
Yeah, a philosophical cliff. You're like, do I exist?
Break your ankle or something. I'll give a real answer, like I gave him. Probably crushing some type of gem or something like that.
Okay, that's a good one. Trip and Fall says the best console of the 7th generation was the Nintendo Wii. Who's with me? All right. I think the 360 for me was probably it right there. That was just rolling right out of the gate, and then the PS3 kind of caught it. So
I like the 7th generation. 360 was my favorite.
Hits says, with the recent Sega losses being reported, should we be concerned with this affecting their game development studios, or is it strictly arcade stuff? Do you want to talk about that now? I want to jump over to that real quick, and then we'll finish up with the PS5 reviews and all of that as well. So we had Sega. They reported an extraordinary loss after they had issues with their arcade. Sega Sammy had issues with COVID because people weren't going. People aren't going to arcades. I don't even know if they could have been open at the time. So they unfortunately are reporting an extraordinary loss. They released their actual, because I thought they were going to report the actual number for the financial information, but it appears that they asked over 600 people if they would voluntarily retire. It's apparently executives getting their salary cut. It's not great right now with what just happened to them.
No bonuses either for their like upper management. 30% salary reduction and no bonuses. So it's pretty significant.
Yeah, what just happened is pretty bad. I know I can get the full number for how much the loss was. Nate, do you have any thoughts on this? Because I think we talked a little bit about this.
I think it was 9 point something, 9.7 million. I think 9 point something. I know it was like 9 million loss.
Let's see. What did you think about this one, Nate? Because the question was about games development.
No, it's not going to impact their games development. It's strictly on the arcade side of things, and it's that Sega Sammy. They sold 85% of their shares in Sega Entertainment. Sega Entertainment creates and operates the arcade locations, and they're still going to make games for arcades. It's just that they sat there and said the arcade business is no longer viable for us, and we're going to take a step back. It's not going to affect the day-to-day operations of a development for like the Sonic team. You're still going to get your Sonic games. You're still going to get whatever Sega actually makes these days. It's just the arcade side. So as far as the Western side and even European side, we're not really going to see these impacts. It's just the arcades in Japan that are being hit by this. As far as Sega day-to-day operations, this really isn't going to impact anything beyond that unless something else catastrophic within the company occurs. But right now it's strictly arcade. You don't have maybe your Dave and Buster's isn't going to get the next House of the Dead.
No,
that's really.
Oh yeah.
They still may make a new House of the Dead. It's just going. It's going to be more like that. So it's nothing for people to be like panicking over if you're worried about any of your favorite Sega IPs not getting made. Sega doesn't make them anyways. So
Sega expects an extraordinary loss of 10 billion yen during their financial year.
$96 million.
They asked 650 employees to voluntarily retire.
Do we think they're going to be acquired?
I've wondered that at times with Sega, but it's like Sega's a weird company because you look at them and you go, Sega should be really, really rich right now. Like if you really think about it, but I just feel like it's weird. It's so mismanaged at times for what they are.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's very weird to me.
go ahead, Dreamcast.
I'll say real quickly, and then you can play off this. But it seems like they don't want to be bought, because I feel like there's been a lot of different scenarios where they have become a very devalued company, and I bet they got offers and they just went, no, thank you. Like, it seems like they just don't want to be bought, no matter how bad or good things go.
Okay. What were you saying, OJ?
Nothing. Jordan, what were you saying, Jordan? Were you going to say anything?
I have nothing to talk about.
No, I think I can remember right now. so yeah, like when it comes to Sega, dude, like I think that a part of the issue that I have with them, I mean, which I've talked about multiple times, is like it just seems like they're still stuck in this past way of making games. Like, we're gonna focus on this and everybody's on this, and it's like the thing that made me know that they're mismanaged is like they were surprised when Persona 4 Golden sold well on PC. They were like, oh wow, we didn't expect it. It's like, what do you mean? You know, like, you've got a game like one of the best RPGs made of all time, right? You've got a game that is like reviewed extremely well. People have been wanting to play this, and it took you 8 years to finally put it out on like something modern, you know? So I mean, that just tells me that it's just extremely mismanaged. They should be making way more money than that they make. So that's kind of just like what I wanted to say with it. Like, the fact that they would sit there and say something like that, they were surprised that the game did that well. It's like, dude, you have some of the best games ever. You're not using any of your old school IPs like to reinvigorate your business. You're not doing anything. So, I mean, Persona is constantly stuck on singular systems for some reason, you know? So they've kind of changed things a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, we'll see what they do going forward. They had Shin Megami Tensei 3. The remaster just came out for PS4 and for Switch, and it did really well. Sold over 100K in Japan alone, not including digital. So that's already that's a good start. Those are the type of starts that you want to have, you know, especially with something that's more on the niche end, you know. So hopefully they can kind of get that together.
You know, I always get a lot more nervous now when we talk about companies being acquired by other companies, because I always think in the back of my mind, if Google wants to get real serious all of a sudden about game streaming again and go, oh, you know what, Sega would help, or Amazon now. So that's always in my mind. I'm like, you know, people think Microsoft right away, but like, you never know with those companies kind of around. But yeah, what Sega really needs is a good Sonic game. Not like, I don't mean like Sonic, maybe like a good top tier 3D Sonic game.
There's a lot of slander. I can't believe there's slander in here. Jeez.
Like they've been talking up this Sonic game that's in development right now since Sonic Forces for a little while. They talked about how they need more time with it and all this. I hope they actually show up with something really cool.
Forces 2.
I'm hoping it's like Sonic Adventure 3 that's actually good. That would be good. Use the name, you know, do the sequel and make it good.
They need it because they haven't had a major hit Sonic game, a major hits 3D Sonic game in a really long time. So,
well, if they had it, they would also get, you know, a bit more out of that mascot as well, because that mascot was like right next to Mario for a while in the 90s and is fallen so much. But they had the movie that was actually successful. Right, and you know, you play off of that. You have a good
Sonic Mania was good.
Yeah, so they just gotta cap it off with a good 3D Sonic game. I think that's the big thing there. So we'll see what happens. We have any other Discord questions left, Evan?
We got people talk a lot about how PS5 has all the exclusives yet avowed, and Starfield being on Game Pass when they launch feels like quite the selling point. Why does Xbox continue to get downplayed as if it's still a Halo machine?
It's because, well, we need the games to come out.
Yeah, I don't think it's getting downplayed. Right. It just needs a good lineup of.
It needs those games. Yeah,
It feels like being like, I can't believe you guys are playing Uncharted when there's this awesome Metroid Prime 4 logo right here. Like, why aren't you more excited for the Metroid Prime 4
exactly.
logo?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, nobody's downplaying it, dude. So I mean, don't think of it that way. But like, you got to actually like, unless you want to just run off of hype, you know, we got to actually have it in front of us, or at least something like PS5. There's Miles Morales. There's Demon Souls. Those are actually games that they're there, you know. Avowed, and what was the other game? Starfield. Those aren't anything. We're not going to be able to play those on the Xbox this upcoming week. So I mean, come on, you know.
Also, it's tough because for a while, I mean, we've seen Halo fall badly now. Like, it's fallen from grace at this point. It was like this series that you would really look forward to, and Jordan knows what happened over there. He wants to say 343 real bad. I know that. But it's just, we're just kind of waiting. We have the hardware that's coming out this week, and now we're just kind of hanging out waiting. That's why it's being downplayed. And also, a lot of people still don't even know if Starfield's staying on the Xbox only or the Game Pass only, or if it's coming to the PS5. So And this is from Xbot saying Sony will buy Sega. I don't know if Sony's gonna buy Sega. They're working on buying Crunchyroll apparently now.
Yeah.
Yep.
RL says, love what you guys do. OJ, you the man. Looking forward to Hyrule Warriors and Cyberpunk.
Sweet, me too.
SSJ says I've never had eggnog in my entire life. There you go, Nate. See?
Okay, so that's a good
Fix this problem. Go to the store and buy a quart of eggnog.
No, I had eggnog once and it blew my butt up. I'm never drinking eggnog again. I'm never drinking it again, dude.
There's an interesting follow-up to that saying, this also reminded me that I've never tried macaroni and cheese before. Thoughts and similar experiences.
Is it an alien?
You're missing out.
Did your mom not love you? What do you mean you never tried macaroni and cheese?
There used to be this dude at my bookstore who never ate pizza ever in his life, and he was like 72 years old, and I only know because he constantly would bring it up. Like that was the only interesting thing about him. Like, I've never had pizza. Go eat one. I don't care.
Max, here's an important one here.
Okay, here we go.
Chaos says, Dreamcast guy, what's with your hatred towards Microsoft 4? PS5 doesn't use all 825 gigabytes, and yet you only complain about Series S 300 gigabytes.
Yeah.
It's also $300 with only 32 gigabytes for this.
I'm complaining about the Series S 360 gigabytes.
Yeah. Well, so my thing is that I in that same video, to anybody who's acting like I hate Microsoft, in that video I told you to buy a Series X. In the video that you're mad about, I said buy an Xbox Series X. So I mean, if you want to be mad, watch the video, like and subscribe.
I don't recall you saying that actually. And I watched the video.
At the very end, maybe at that point you were so mad you went down to the comment section. You're like, if Sony cast guy doesn't stop kissing Nate Drake, I don't know.
I filled up that drive in about 60 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and okay. So Neo says, "What can we expect from Mass Effect Trilogy Remasters?" Just announced earlier today.
Yeah,
you can expect Mass Effect.
It's the same 3 games we've already played, and that's good enough for me.
I'm a bit concerned that it's going to. I don't think it's gonna be bare minimum work, but I don't know how far do you think they're going to go with this thing?
Not far.
Just text. I think it's going to look good. I am probably the only person. I do wish that they had done something with the gameplay of 1. I love 1, but the gameplay is so dramatically better in 2 and 3. I wish that they made it, more modernized.
I think they'll do some texture work. Add some post processing and new shaders to make it look.
Yeah, well, they talked about it.
Feel better. I think it'll run 60 as well. I mean, all the games run 30 on consoles right now, if that. So I mean, there'll be some enhancements to the game, and I think they'll probably tighten up controls. And man, those elevator rides in that first game, I think they'll be a lot shorter as well. So I think there's definitely something to look forward to. I'm gonna pick it up and play through them again. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I think
I can play that on my Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so there should be no load times then in the elevator. You should get on the elevator and it instantly lets you off.
Yeah,
there should be no
everyone just hits the ceiling, then the floor, and then it's just like game over.
Yeah, they did say that was the interesting wording. They said is that it's being made for current gen consoles and will be forward compatible. So it sounds like they're like it's going to be like a great Xbox One.
Nate,
game
what about that? Nate, what about that Switch version?
It doesn't exist.
Oh.
It's not coming to the Switch anytime soon, at least. I don't know why people kept expecting it to come with these other versions.
Retail listings, that everyone realized that it was EA, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's EA." That's right.
EA.
We got hot pursuit, so
it took 3 years for them to say we're going to bring more than one game to your system. Yeah, they're just going to bring Mass Effect Trilogy to it. I mean, this is the same company that gave you Mass Effect 3 at full price, and a week later gave PS3 and 360.
I remember that.
The Mass Effect, I think, was the trilogy.
It was the trilogy.
$30. Like, hey, $60 for 3. We're going to give them all 3 games for half the price. Yeah.
And if we give you the best one for $60, man.
Yeah, but could you play those on your tablet?
Actually, you could with Smart Glass.
All right, listen, smart ass.
Okay, so
Smart Glass, you smart ass.
This one's from The Fallen, who says, "Why is Sony Pony Jabroni Cast guy such an Xbox hater?"
That's good. That's a great one. Yeah, thank you, The Fallen. That's actually good. Sony Jabroni Cast.
Then to follow that up, Singh says, "I'm a proud pony. Dreamcast, the homie pony. Let's go."
Hell yeah! Here's my PS5 controller. I'm licking it in your honor, brother.
Edgar says, "You guys need a backup female gamer. Feels weird without Miss Click." Well, Miss Click should be back next week.
We have OJ here
taken care of and set up.
No, I do agree that we gotta get more girl gamers up in here.
And Khalil says, do you think Monster Hunter Rise is going to be pushed back with what's happening at Capcom?
I assume they mean the data hack.
The data hack. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's like ransom. Like apparently they're having stuff held as ransom right now. I don't think so, because it sounds like that's all like, it sounded like that was like financial information and stuff that was being held up.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to delay the game because of that.
Probably they hired like a whole company to talk and negotiate with the people holding it for ransom and all of this. So that's some crazy stuff going on there.
What if they demand a new Dino Crisis? Then we're all screwed.
Yeah, Capcom's like, you know what? Keep the bank statements.
Keep it. We're going out of business. Shuttered. No,
that's how we
aged well.
Hold on. We got to get in contact with that might be how we get Mega Man Legends 3 released.
Yeah, you're right. It's
release the demo on the 3DS.
Release the demo.
Release the demo.
How do we get them to put that? They're asking for like, $200 million. Hold on. Let's talk about Mega Man Legends 3 first, okay?
Right.
Like we still got the demo somewhere. We'll throw it on the eShop for one day only. Okay.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Thank you.
As long as we can all make a video.
Rodriguez says Double Dash 2 or Mario Kart Live is Mario Kart 9.
Neither. Something new.
Dennis says, you guys got details on the UI res options on PS5. Is there going to be a 1080p 50 to 60 hertz one? Yes, it sounds like it's 1080p and then 4K, and they're just skipping 1440p apparently. Demolition says, sold my Xbox One S, got the Note 20. I just used Game Pass and xCloud. Just had an amazing morning of PUBG where my phones outperformed my cousin's VCR. Hear that, Nate? Phones are outperforming your VCR now.
Lies. My VCR is a trooper.
Oh, gosh. Bat says, in the past 2 weekends, we had 10 plus people playing Conquer Live and Reloaded online via X-Link. It was glorious, that is all. Oh, I remember the days of X-Link. Oh, man. That's how we got the original Halo to work.
There's still a lot of people playing Halo 2 on X-Link.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
With the original Xbox. Interesting.
Yep.
We did it with Halo 1 back in the day.
We're getting like an original Xbox Live server thing coming back, right?
Yeah, Insignia.
Ooh.
Yeah, it should be, I think, end of this year. It's at least.
Oh, that'll be cool. I will try that. That'll be cool. Hopefully the Xbox HDMI thing, internal and mod, will be around by then. So I'll install that and play some Xbox Online. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. Aaron says Nintendo Kart with tracks like New Donk City, Hyrule Castle, Great Plateau, and Pokemon, respectively. And then RDX Devin says Griffin Gaming is OP. And is that all the ones here? We have any other Discord questions left, Evan?
One.
Okay, you want to hit us with the last one? Oh, we also have Elegant Weapon, no message, and then Bronze Player, no message. You want to hit us with the Discord question, Evan?
Optional permadeath in games is becoming more of a thing. Do we see this affecting game design going forward, and is it a good thing?
We have optional permadeath in Watchdogs right now.
Yeah, that's how I'm playing the game, by the way.
Apparently Assassin's Creed as well.
Yeah, which I think is a really cool feature. It makes the game feel a lot different because
a lot more tense because you don't want to lose your character.
Yeah, because I had one of my characters get killed, and you kind of feel like, wow, maybe I should have taken more care of them.
We have permadeath.
You grow a connection to the character. I guess a lot more than just someone that you just.
We have permadeath in like Fire Emblem, for example. I lost some people to that as well, and you do feel that because they get rid of them, and you're like, oh, okay, great.
Excuse me, John.
What's that?
You said you lost some people.
Yeah, you lose people, and hey, you know what? Sacrifice had to be made on the battlefield.
You didn't restart the map.
OJ, they're all pawns. The rules of the game. Live with your decisions.
Yeah, you got to move them around.
Yeah, if you win the battle, who cares?
I'm not behind this decision.
I do. At least it's optional for these games. If it was like just straight permadeath, that would probably turn some people off.
Yeah, the best was Diablo 3 Hardcore when the servers would lag and your character would just be dead when you log back in.
Okay, that's my only issue is permadeath. If it's online though, and you do have that could happen, like if you get kicked out of a lobby or something, your character dies. That's the only thing I'm a little concerned about. So I like permadeath in like these single player games. It's cool to have it as an option because it does actually feel like that there are consequences if something bad happens.
I like Diablo 3 Hardcore a lot. I'm a big fan of the Diablo Hardcore characters, and I definitely think it makes it more of an emotional experience if you know that there is a cost to your mess ups.
let's go over. Oh, Bronze Player says bring Crap Gamer onto the show, and then I think that's all of the super chats there. Let's go over to the PS5 reviews. PS5 embargoes went up. There was some interesting information in there. What do you think, Max, about what we saw for the PS5?
I think a lot of people were impressed about things that I didn't even consider. I think the thing that impresses me the most, I play a lot of multiplayer, and the thing I'm most excited for is multiplayer on my PS5. And that whole like in-game action bar where you can like bring up a quick menu and you can do things like play Pandora, or one of the things you can do is you can stream somebody else's screen. So if you and I were playing co-op, I could basically almost make my own version of split screen co-op and put your gameplay in the corner of my screen. That is so revolutionary. I'm excited for it.
So
I think that was something Stadia said they wanted to do, and then
oh gosh,
yeah,
oh boy,
yeah. It's too bad Stadia sucks.
Of course, Stadia comes up.
Stadia wanted to do a lot of things.
Miles Morales looks good too. That's 85, I think. Last I saw Metacritic, it seems like people are really excited, having a good time with it, and it actually sounds like it's a little longer than people were expecting it to be because we heard it was expansion, and then Nate, I think you had mentioned at one point that it was what, like 10 hours.
I've been hearing from people I've been talking to. They might do some of the collectathon stuff where they're trying to get 100%, but they're getting close to about 20 hours out of it. I don't think that's too bad for an expansion that people are viewing it as.
I'm hoping it does bridge the gap from like Spider-Man 2018 to the Spider-Man 2 that we know we're going to get in a couple of years or so. And that would be cool if it kind of had this good cliffhanger ending that gets us there, or just kind of sets things up for that, where you're playing as Miles a bit, getting him more acclimated to being a hero and swinging around and all of this. So it's cool. Also, that suit looks amazing from the movie.
I know. I rewatched it today, just right before we started. I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse.
What's strange though, okay, so when are these Demon Souls reviews coming out?
Right,
sometime next week, maybe.
Is it coming out the day before the system launches?
I think it's the day of, maybe.
You might see some reviews the day of system launch. To my knowledge, review code has not yet been distributed.
Oh, interesting. That's one I'd want to get that out a little earlier because people are probably going to get killed quite a bit in the game, get messed up.
That's a game you don't need review coverage of. People are going to buy it on the hype.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess that's
true. You're buying Demon Souls, and
I'll tell you why they're going to do that though, because people be like people be ruining too many things for people, like how to beat certain bosses. They don't want all that crap out there. You know what I'm saying?
It came out like 10 years ago.
It doesn't matter. It came out they don't want that. They want it to be a fresh experience. There's going to be a lot of new players you got to remember. Yeah, we were all old 10 years ago or whatever, but there's a lot of people that were, if they're 5, they're 15 now, or they're 16. So they don't want all that stuff out there. And I think that's the reason why. They just don't want all the strategies out there. They just want people, look, if you want to buy it, you buy it. The game's good. We already know the game's really good. So I think that's the reason why they're doing that. They just don't want all that crap out there, spoilers.
So from what I can tell, the system looks solid, but what was really weird was we had load times come out, MVG, and this seemed to surprise a lot of people because it had to do with backwards compatibility, which is still the big thing since, like, OJ, you're going to go back and play a lot of the current gen games on the system.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude.
Which is cool because we will see some like Ghost of Tsushima is going to get a patch that's going to make that play. It sounds incredible with all the stuff they're going to add to it, which is great because it has that multiplayer they added too, which is already really good. But they started doing some testing for backwards compatibility, and it seemed to surprise to people that the Series X was actually loading these games either as fast or even faster than what the PS5 was in some cases. I think Witcher 3 is faster on the PS5, but like a vast majority of the games that were being tested, I think GameSpot has a video, Trusted Reviews has a video. They were going through it, and we're seeing some pretty large, like 20-30% gaps between them in terms of load times. And everyone's still kind of unsure about this, but what do you think about that, MVG? What was your take on that one?
I wouldn't read too much into that stuff. First of all, there will be a day one patch when the hardware comes out. It's very hard to make those comparisons when you don't have, I guess, the final retail. But I guess, the other thing is you got to remember that Microsoft has invested so much time and money in backward compatibility. Sony has done less so. And I think ultimately the reason why the performance of the loading may be slower on the PS5, even though it has the faster specification SSD and controller, is simply because there's a lot more that needs to happen for a backward compatible PS4 game to run on a PS5 as compared to a backward compatible Xbox One game on an Xbox Series X or Series S, because there's a lot more that goes on technically. There's the graphics, the shaders, and all that stuff need to be recompiled. That stuff has to happen on the Xbox as well. But you're going from DirectX to DirectX, right? So there's there's that on the PS4 and the PS5. There's just a lot more that's happening there, and I think the CPU is doing more work to decompress, recompile shaders, get all the assets ready for PS5 on the backward compatible game, and ultimately I think that's why it's a little slower. But again, I wouldn't read too much into it. I think it's probably something that Sony could address. And look, we'll see when the kind of day one firmware patch comes out, what the numbers are like.
We'll see with some of these next gen games too. Like Assassin's Creed will probably be a good one to look at. Yeah. Cyberpunk's probably going to be a big one.
I would expect from anything next gen. I think Sony will have a faster loading, system.
Spider-Man loads like crazy fast from what they were showing.
Yes, I would expect everything to load faster on the PS5. Anything going backward in time may not, and as we've seen, that's the case. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's one of those things that's like, oh look, the PlayStation's supposed to have the faster SSD, but it's slower than the Xbox. So everyone's getting really excited about it because they expected the PS5 to be quicker. But honestly, I mean, the PS5's backward compatibility solution is good, but it's not anywhere near as refined as
it's kind of like a general like fill all. Basically, the PS5 just tries to emulate the PS4 through clock speeds and all of this, and just tries to match that profile. So it's like, it seems to me that Microsoft investing so heavily in backwards compatibility is paying off now. But when we get these current gen or these next gen games showing up that will take advantage of the SSD, it'll be pretty straightforward with the PS5 having faster load times for the most part. Is the way I'm looking at it. Microsoft is, how long they've been doing this backwards compatibility stuff where they've been investing in? It's been a long time.
Since 2006, 2007. When they announced for the Xbox 360 for the original Xbox games. They've been doing it literally for like 15 years, And
they have a solid team around it too. I'm actually really curious to see what they'll do with the Series X if they decide to pick out some other games from like the 360 and the original Xbox, and they do things like ray tracing added in. That could be something that'll be really cool to see. So you never know.
I don't think the load times on the PS5 for backward compatibility games is anything that's of a concern, right? The load times are still great. It's just Microsoft came in with like these amazing load times, and everyone's just like, wow, that's unbelievable. Sony can definitely improve those load times, and it really is now up to them whether they invest into doing that or they just look ahead into the next gen.
I'm kind of thinking based on Jim Ryan's track record, he's going to be like to the future instead. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And they'll firmware updated. Firmware updates to improve it. And I mean, like Digital Foundry showed some of the backwards compatibility stuff on the PS5. And I think it was Sekiro. Sekiro runs at a more consistent 60 frames a second than the Xbox Series X version does.
Yes, so that's because it runs at
3 extra seconds of loading, but you have better performance. Do you really care?
That's because it's running at a lower resolution that's checkerboarded up. So it actually works out that they're using the PS4 Pro version of it, whereas on the other side, the Series X is trying to do a native 4K. So I think the checkerboard makes more sense for a game like that because, to be honest, you're probably not going to notice any real difference since you're busy, playing the game and trying not to die. So I think Sony's approach to that one is better because of that. So
I mean, it's a weird real controversy that people are looking at it with the load times, because you're looking at some of these games like Final Fantasy 15 that took forever to load on current gen systems.
Oh man, it's bad.
Now they're going down to really good loading times, and people are gonna say, well, mine's 15 seconds faster. Okay, great. It's 15 seconds. Like, if this generation really becomes so petty where people are going to say, my game took 5 seconds, yours took 7.
Welcome to next gen, Nate.
That's a whole
that's what's going to happen.
Do y'all know? I know it's going to happen. And that's kind of
when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, people were arguing over 1080p and 900p images.
I remember that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I honestly think the big battle is going to be games. Just the fact that Microsoft has nothing, I think that's going to be the big talking point. Is just the fact that it's like, cool, Microsoft has great backwards compatibility. Here's my PlayStation 5
I kind of see it being like how in the beginning of the PS3, it was very slow for Sony to get out of the gate, but that was because their hardware was so expensive. But then at the end, they really started like catching on with all kinds of games, and the hardware became more affordable. I almost think Microsoft could be on that same kind of path, because it's just going to take these studios that they picked up recently just time to get these games out. So
the other thing to keep in mind is, if you guys watch Digital Foundry's video about the backward compatibility, they showed some games that had that warning, that said this game may not perform correctly. I mean, we're all assuming that warning is for just graphical glitches and maybe some quirks in the gameplay. But what if it actually has to do with loading performance? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if it's the entire package, right?
It could.
So, I think Sony, again, if they choose to do so, I think they can definitely improve.
I hope so. I hope they do.
Experience.
Yeah, because like Sekiro still has, I think, still a great one to play with that for the frame rates. So if you could see that kind of performance and better load times across the board, especially with like Ghost already loads super fast on the PS4 Pro. I don't know how much faster it's going to load on the PS5, but to have better load times across the board that just improve would be good. So we'll see. I'm just really curious now about Cyberpunk and how fast the comparisons around that.
One thing.
Go ahead, Nate. Go on.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, that's not even getting its next gen patches or its next gen.
That's right. Yeah.
So
that's why it's going to be interesting to see how they do just raw performance.
Because I mean, they're targeting PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, and they'll add the next gen, or they'll make it compatible for the PS5.
Here's what I'm confused about with Cyberpunk while we're talking about this right now. They said that this game turned into a next gen game somewhere along the way, but it's not going to be a next gen game at launch.
Right, yeah. I'm
a little confused here.
They're saying a lot of things.
Yeah, right.
I'm a little confused on this game right now.
I 100% think there's going to be the whole way Anthem had all those like chapters written about it afterward, like all the story.
Oh boy.
I think it's just not even a negative way. I do think Cyberpunk's going to be good, but I feel like this is one of those, like, they were trying to build Witcher 4 in the future, and then over time I was like, oh, cut it back.
It just sounds like they just took on way too much of Cyberpunk. So this is going to be a very interesting launch when that game comes out. I feel like I'm going to turn it on. It's going to be like, here's a 60 gigabyte day one patch,
right?
And it's actually the whole game. So that's we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't break it like Watchdog. They're gonna fix that soon, right?
I hope so.
Like, you can't play the game right now. I just thought of that. We just can't even play it.
So I played it. I keep getting emails from Ubisoft basically saying like, hey, we know you reviewed the game. Just want to let you know we came out with another update patch. They keep emailing me with every patch. Like, hey,
email them back.
I know. I think about it. Yeah, I can. Maybe I will just ask the developers. I'm like, hey, it broke. Can you fix it?
Okay, so we did also hear about the download speeds being faster. MVG once again on the PS5. Heard it was significantly faster, which is good, because I don't know if it's just me, but like the PlayStation Network download speeds are very slow on the PS4.
Yeah. Oh, ridiculous.
Is it? Okay, I don't know if it was just me, and I've just been like,
and I've tried all the tricks, changing the DNS servers, all that stuff that people tell you to do. Nothing makes a difference. It's slow as hell.
Apparently with the PS5, I don't know, maybe they uncapped it or did something. People are showing comparison times where it is like 80% faster, like tremendous amounts of download speeds that they're getting, which is great. So I'm happy to hear about that. But something was brought up alongside of this, and that is apparently, and I had to like triple check this, right now people who are playing the PS5 can't back their games up to an external drive.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
Which is and we're not talking about being able to play PS5 games.
The game, or back up the save.
Back up the game. It's like, how we can, like on the Xbox, you can plug in a hard drive and you can move the game over to save space. Apparently people are discovering that right now, anyway, in the current build, the PS5 they're using, you cannot plug an external drive in and move your PS5 game to it for storage. We're not talking about playing games off it, just for storage, and then move it back when you want to actually, use it. That is apparently not ready right now.
It's a firmware update in the future.
Yeah. That's got to be a day one patch, right?
Yeah.
Probably not.
It's just that thing again. The system, everything is coming in hot right now. Like
it's gotta be, dude. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that will come eventually. I don't know if it comes day one, like Nate said, but they'll definitely add that in.
Well, we had the space. The space for it is 667 gigabytes after the system partitions. So, like, that's not a lot. Especially like Spider-Man Remastered has both Spider-Man games over 100 gigabytes. Call of Duty has 133 gigabytes. So now we're closing in on half of that space that's available to you with 2 games.
Yeah, it's interesting that Sony has allocated all that additional space when they don't have like a quick resume feature, right?
They have the activities, and I'm almost thinking that is what that space is for, where they store those save states or whatever it is.
The activity cards are more like hyperlinks to just play the game. I mean, it's fast. I saw the Astrobot level booted up in like 3 seconds.
It was quick. Yeah, it was very fast.
Insane if you can do that for other games where it's just like a platformer. It's, I can go to this level, or I think it's Devil May Cry 5. You can go right into, what is it, like the store. You can go right into speed runs. And I think Spider-Man, you can go right into certain areas where you're trying to find collectibles. I mean, it has cool potential if it's utilized correctly.
Dude, they had a Devil May Cry loading in like less than 2 seconds from that load screen. It was crazy. So it's I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. This hard drive thing was weird. That caught me off guard. I thought that would have been pretty straightforward because it already happens. Like they already do it with the PS4. So
I have a theory about it, and I don't know if it's true, but you know, as someone that has seen, you know, Pokemon get leaked and data mined to oblivion, do you think they're securing the games, the next gen games, onto the internal drive so people can't data mine the game?
Oh, I like that idea. That actually makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we get that. Yeah. So you're thinking maybe they get that patch at launch and they're just doing this. So, because I mean, if you have a PS5 and you're sending it out to reviewers and they only have access to 3 games, right? Astro. What else do they have? They have Spider-Man. Do they have Sackboy yet?
I have not seen a single thing.
I haven't seen
Bug Snacks. Okay, so we got 3 games there, right?
I knew there was a third.
It's okay. And Astrobot comes with the console. It's already on the system. Yep. So they wouldn't even need access to the hard drive really, unless they're doing, I guess, just backwards compatible games or something. But you can do PS4 games as it is. Like that works, just PS5 games. So you might be onto something there, MG. Maybe there is a day one patch.
Yep.
I could see that. That would be something that could happen. But then on top of that, it does sound like we won't have those NVMe drives ready either at launch. It sounds like that will be another firmware patch down the road. No whitelist for NVMe drives.
I'll wait for your video on that one to see.
Yeah, people are just going to make me buy random NVMe drives and just like, this one works, this one doesn't work, this one doesn't work. I'm just going to make a whole list myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that yet.
That'd be a good video. It would be funny if you said like, does it work or does it get the hammer? And everyone,
I just smash it. Yeah,
yes.
I wouldn't do any.
That could have worked in my PC, but you know it's cool.
You're going to be wasteful.
It is definitely. You know what, FG, you're absolutely right. I think these systems could have probably waited to next year, but they're coming in hot. You're right.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, I'm excited about next week. I know we all are.
Oh, hardware, new hardware,
new hardware. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can tell. Not Sony, Microsoft. Everyone is scrambling right now to get this stuff ready before the holidays.
Yeah, Ubisoft just broke their game.
Ubisoft, yep,
literally broke their game. Okay, Evan, do we have any other Discord questions, or was that it?
Yeah, we got them all.
Okay, let me go through some of these super chats, and I'll go over to Streamlabs as well. Elegant Weapon says, what would you pitch as the next Star Wars game aside from Fallen Order 2? I was going to say Fallen Order 2, but I guess not then. I want another
Rogue Squadron.
Didn't you play the new one?
I would pitch remaking Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, okay.
I want the GameCube one, but
I would remake Jedi Knight.
I want
the original one. Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight.
I want KOTOR 3. Like, I feel like a lot of people are begging for a Knights of the Old Republic remake. I want to see more lore from that. That time period was always interesting to me, of like Star Wars before the Star War.
I like that idea. What if they did what they did with like Mafia, where they're remaking, well, remade the first one, they're releasing the second one, third one, and then they're going to probably do a new one. What they did with KOTOR, just brought it all up, remade the first one from the ground up, and then also make the third one.
I'd be more excited for 3. It'd be cool to get a remake. There's been a lot of rumors that they want to do a remake or some sort of remake project is being made, but I'm just curious of like, it's always like, I love Crash 4. I like whenever they just do a sequel like 20 years later. It's always interesting to me.
And then we have RDX says PS5 ripped off Snap app on Xbox One.
Oh yeah,
Xbox Snap that. Yeah, Snap TV, right?
TV.
Okay,
TV.
you had to talk real slow. Xbox, turn on ESPN.
Neo says they had a state of play for Demon Souls gameplay today. They did. I'm just ready to play the game now. I think I'm good.
I did. Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I'm ready.
A bunch of people sent it to me. I watched about 90 seconds. So, yep, that's Demon Souls. Hell yeah, baby.
Yeah, I'm sold on it at this point. I'm ready.
I'm sold on it. I mean, the game looks incredible, but I know as soon as I get it, I'm going to get destroyed in the first hour and just be like, oh god.
Hey, they got 180 videos ready to go, already built into the game, and you can watch the strategies. They already got them there for you.
And while you play it, it plays a baby crying noise like, hey, PlayStation 5, help me beat this boss. It's like, wah! It shows you how to kill it.
I stopped playing them a while ago after Bloodborne, but I'm excited to see other people play. Like, I like watching Souls streamers, people that are really good at the game, people who even aren't good at it and play through. So I've always been a fan of why. That's like my new thing. So I like when they come out because I watch other people do it. I used to beat them. Like, I beat Demon Souls back in the day, but I'm good on playing it. Like,
I give it 12 hours. 12 hours until somebody has a full no-hit run uploaded.
It's going to happen pretty soon. I mean, there's some really good Souls players on Twitch, like that I watch. Really good guys that don't get hit. I mean, it's hard. It's not easy. But yeah, man, I'm excited to watch the other people that are really good play those games.
237 says Last of Us 2 takes longer to load on PS5 than on the PS4. I did not see anything about that. Maybe I missed it. There were a lot of reviews out there and a lot of tests done. So
I know some people have been doing tests where they've been using an external SSD on their PlayStation 4 and they're getting faster load times than what the PS5 is giving in backwards compatibility of some games.
That's a game that's going to get a patch though. Like that's one of
it can just be optimization still on the PS5. You're going to get random cases of this until they kind of just give firmware updates for the backwards compatibility. I mean, just have to, it's still game by game. Really doesn't seem to be any consensus on what we're getting performance wise, because I think the game tested was Marvel Avengers. It was faster on the PS4 external than it was on the PS5. So it could just be the game. Who knows?
I mean, it's the Avengers. It's the Marvel's Avengers game. So
yeah, you shouldn't be booting that game up anyway.
True. Nobody is. It's fine.
Mr. Pete says, this is over on Streamlabs. Looking forward to the Series X teardown. Also got my PS1 digital and X Station installed. So I'll be playing PS1 until I get my new consoles. Oh, it's awesome. I still need to get both of those actually, because that MVG's video on that PS1 digital basically sold me on it. So I will be getting one.
I love that.
Mr. Awesome. Pete's a good dude, by the way. Mr. Pete, I touch him a lot on Twitter. He's a good dude.
Prince of Duval says, I saw recently that load times for Last of Us on PS4 were drastically reduced. Is this a product of Sony's relationship with Oodle? And what else does this mean for other PS4 and PS5 titles? I would say more for PS5. I don't know if they're going to... I'd be surprised they do any more series patches for PS4 titles now, unless it's for the PS5. But I could see them doing more optimization towards load times as they get ready for PS5 games in general. So, yeah, I mean, you never know, I guess. But I'm going to be curious now when they put that patch out for Last of Us 2 for the PS5, because I bet you they're going to do that multiplayer mode too on the PS5. Yeah, factions. I bet you they will. So I would assume that would get a significant optimization patch.
I'm going to counter that and say that multiplayer doesn't even exist.
Oh,
you think? Well, I mean, I saw leaked gameplay, so I mean, it exists somewhere.
Okay.
Why, MG? Why don't you think it exists? MG, what happened? Who told you?
I don't know anything about The Last of Us. It just feels like once they released that game, I just felt like they just breathed a sigh of relief and they moved on from The Last of Us. I feel like they're on to the next thing now, you know.
Even MVG did know about this Halo Infinite stuff though, so
Max, you're right. There's probably internal multiplayer builds that they were, messing around with, but I don't know. I just don't feel like that fits anywhere within their roadmap right now.
I mean, you know more than me, MVG. It would be interesting. I do think that if it comes out, the fact that we haven't seen it is worrying. Yeah, we haven't even seen a screenshot.
Nevin asks, what are your thoughts on this morning's State of Play detailing Demon's Souls remake as well as the Mass Effect remaster announcement? I'm sold on both. Which is shocking because one's from EA. Taker says, I seem to remember reading a story that said Microsoft was considering selling the Series X in Japan as a Sega branded console. Was that a real thing? Also, do you guys think that Age of Calamity will result in an alternate Breath of the Wild timeline? I don't think that was ever actually a thing. I thought that was a rumor, right?
It wasn't even a rumor. It was like one random person said, imagine if they did this. And everyone's like, oh my God, that's so smart. And then somehow it escalated into becoming a rumor because of hopes and dreams and unicorns and rainbows and leprechauns.
Well, you think Age of Calamity will result in an alternate Breath of the Wild timeline? Oh boy. I think it's gonna cause a lot of division in the community if that's the case. Arguing on the timeline. If that's the case,
then the new topic or controversy of the month is going to be the Nintendo mislead people because they positioned Age of Calamity as a prequel to Breath of the Wild, and if all of a sudden we're getting alternate timelines where Goku Black shows up and Zamus is screwing around and killing Zelda, then people are gonna be like, "What the hell is that?"
That actually sounds like an interesting game all of a sudden.
Yeah, right. I was like, you're selling me on this. I'll pre-order it now.
We can't do this again after Final Fantasy VII Remake. We already
no, you're right. Yeah, we'll have to have a roundtable discussion after every Zelda and go, which timeline?
Remember it. Shamsa comes in with the big $100 donation. Also, Shamsa donated on the last pre-recorded one, so I want to give a double shout out to Shamsa for that. That's very nice of you, Shamsa. Always appreciated that. And I think that's all of the Streamlabs. So big shout out to Shamsa, Taker,
shout out Shamsa,
610, Nevin, Prince Duval, and Mr. Pete over on Streamlabs. So I think what we're going to do now is go around with some outros. Oh, we have Joven saying new custom robo anyone? And then
there is. It's called Snaptic Drive. Go play
it. And then Mid says, "Are you still trying to get Mystic on the show?" Yeah, talk to Mystic. We'll have him on the show at some point soon. Talk PS5 stuff after the PS5 comes out, of course. And let's go around here as I finish up some of these super chats. Max, where can everyone find you?
YouTube.com/Dreamcast guy. Got a bunch of stuff coming up. The big thing I'm excited for next week, Bugsnax review is Monday morning. I am getting the Xbox Series X on Tuesday, and then the PlayStation 5 is Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So doing videos about all that. It should be fun. I want to also try and maybe stream something. Once I have the new console set up, I do want to try and test out some in-console streaming. So we'll see.
Nice. We have Eamon says, what's the battery time on the PS5 versus the Xbox controllers? I think the Xbox controller, the newer one, it's pretty solid. It takes AA's, but I'm thinking that's 15 to 20 hours pretty easily on that. PS5 controller is somewhere between 6 to 10 hours based on all of these different reviews. Let's go over to Jordan Fringe. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Pickle, where right now I'm going through some game shows of Nickelodeon's past. I made a video on Figure It Out. And for my Pokemon stuff, I'm working on trying to do something that's pretty historic in Pokemon collecting. And
historic. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be history making that I'll be working on throughout next week.
Oh.
And yeah, so you can find me there.
Video following for that too?
Yeah, I'll be making a video. Pretty big video on it.
Nice. That's awesome. And Lycon says, FYI, all the lore for KOTOR 3 was rolled into the old... Okay, Max isn't here. They're trying to let him know that the lore for KOTOR 3 was rolled into the Star Wars Old Republic MMO. We had Shinru. And then we had Venesera saying, interesting that Dreamcast guy is such a Sony fan when Sony helped to kill Sega. Great show as always.
Shinru did have something in there. It's just I was blocking people and he got hit. So
oh, okay.
How would you guys pitch a new Star Fox game besides another Star Fox 64? I would love a remaster of Star Fox Assault from the GameCube with online play.
I would kick both doors in because it's double doors, right? So you kick both at the same time when you walk through, and you slam the paper down, and it's Star Fox Adventures 2.
No. Star Fox Collection.
Game of the year.
Star Fox Collection. You put Assault, you put Zero, and you put the DS version on a collection. That's what I would do.
No, I would pitch Star Fox Adventures 2 and Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 would all of a sudden delay a year just out of fear of having to be next to it at the Game Awards next year. Yeah.
I would like to see a version of Zero with less gimmicks.
Star Fox GP.
Grand Prix. Oh, see, now we're talking.
Baby.
Now we're
Let's go.
talking. Now we're talking.
Star Fox Grand Prix.
I heard that had to go back in hiding just to get some more work done on it.
It was
It was too legit. Yeah.
It's hinted at in Star Fox Command, where what's his name, Falco and Fox McCloud decided to become Grand Prix racers.
I've seen that screenshot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you do to make Star Fox something again.
Then D-Man says, will the Witcher 3 next gen patch be available on console launch? I don't think so.
Didn't they?
Would they? Okay, I don't know if they gave a date or not on it. I will look into that though. Absolutely. OJ, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me right here on YouTube. Had a big week, had a lot of new people come through, so I appreciate that, guys. Getting close to 70K, so I appreciate you guys' support. Got a lot of people saying that they came over from the Spawncast, like whenever I stream, so thank you
awesome.
for having me on all the time, John. Appreciate that. So if you guys can check out the channel, subscribe, that'd be great. Got a big week this upcoming week, obviously next-gen systems, but we got a lot of cool stuff, talking about Fire Emblem and Xenoblade and the future of different stuff, so a lot of you guys have been enjoying those videos, so I appreciate that. So yeah, come through if you guys can. And I stream daily, so you guys can come through, get questions answered, all that good stuff. So yeah.
Then we have Eman saying, looking forward to MVG's S teardown. Which vapor chamber is larger, the PS5 or the Series S? The PS5 is massive. The PS5's heatsink in general, that whole thing is crazy. I want to actually take it apart and just hold it up to see how large it is. The Series X is pretty big too, though. So
I think that it's probably bigger than the Series S in total.
It might be. You know what? It might be actually. That would be a fun comparison to just sit them next to each other just to see. But you got a Series S teardown coming out, right? MVG, you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G, YouTube Modern Vintage Gamer. I will be uploading a teardown of the Series S on Monday. So yeah, check that out. It's a pretty interesting video. I found some interesting things inside the Series S, which I think will make people interested about some of the possibilities of what can be done. And other than that, thanks for having me on. And yeah, it's going to be a busy week this week. I'll be getting a PS5 hopefully on launch day. Nothing has shipped yet, or nothing is my credit card hasn't been charged yet, but we'll see. Hopefully there's no delays, but if so, then probably a teardown and all that stuff coming next week. So cool. Check out the channel.
And then Jonathan G says, did you guys talk about Mass Effect Legendary? We did a bit. They need to show a bit more about that too. That was obviously a very quick, like, hey, it's a real, and that was kind of it. Like,
a
it's a
logo.
real thing. Yeah, it's a real thing.
We did it.
And let's see, we'll finish up with Nate. Nate, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Nate the Hate, or on Twitter at Nate the Hate, followed by the number 2. We will have a few podcasts hitting the channel next week, talking about a broad range of topics, including the PS5, Xbox Series X, and possibly Nintendo. So people should tune in, subscribe, and listen to our current episode, which is about Nintendo in 2021.
Looking forward to 2021 for Nintendo. I think there's a lot of stuff happening.
People should listen to the podcasts MVG and I have up there right now.
There you go. Go check it out on Nate the Hate. Absolutely.
I'll think about it.
You will do as you are told.
I've already watched it. It was good.
Evan, you want to let everyone know where you can find you?
On Twitter or Twitch at Kimmerix Project. This week on Twitch, I'm going to try to hold myself to really starting on the episode 200 special edition thing for the Spawncast.
Oh yeah, that's coming up. We'll have a 200 episode shirt, right? Yep. Special edition.
It's supposed to. I'm thinking it's going to be all over art, like it's an all over print shirt. I'm looking into other options so that we can.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah, that's why I want to get started on it rather than procrastinating like I've been doing. So, but the problem is GTFO is calling me, man. I'm almost to the bottom floor. I want to get through it.
How many shirts should we do if it's a limited run? How many of them should we do?
Well, it's the limited run's probably going to be two weeks after the episode airs, and then I might do a special version.
I like the 2 week time period. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks.
Anti-consumer, actually.
Honestly, it's the only way people seem to buy these things when I make them. So.
Well, he's going to do the signature edition, right?
Signature edition, which will probably be for that 2 weeks. And then they'll probably, I'm debating, there might be like a colored signature edition for the 2 weeks and then just a black and white that goes up after.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
Stays that
Very
way.
good. Very good. Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it here for the Spawncast. Thanks everyone for joining us. And we'll be back here 9 p.m. Eastern time next weekend to talk about, I'm sure, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S as everyone picks it up this week. We'll see you guys then.